Illegal sit there above the law.
Ma'am.
I'm not doing anything, sir.
I've already told you.
I'm not doing
Adult daycare.
anything.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
I need you to unlock the door.
Okay, we already
Roll
spoke
down
about
the
this,
window.
sir. I'm not doing anything to y'all. They wanna break the windows. And
We're
this
gonna-
tow
yep.
truck over here came over here too. I don't even know.
Oh.
Unlock the door and step
Sir,
out.
I'm not doing anything to
Yes, you
y'all.
are.
No, I'm not.
You are not listening to me.
Mental children.
You're not free to go. You're not free to drive away.
Okay, I understand that,
Your
sir.
car has to be towed.
No,
So
it
you need to step
doesn't. No,
out.
I no, it doesn't, sir.
Yes,
Like, I'm
you are
a
hazard-
gay.
Graduate of the Leary Center.
Shouldn't have fucked around, huh? All you had to do was comply. Illegal sit there above the law.
Ma'am.
I'm not doing anything, sir.
I've already told you.
I'm not doing.
I'm not doing nothing. Bitch, the fuck out of the car. Ooh, barracks inspection and they found the Draco. Damn. That's not good. That's not good. You could tell everyone's face is like, oh, fuck. Somebody got us in trouble. Look at the faces. Like, look at this. No. Look at all the faces. Oh shit. Full magazines and ammo as well. Everyone in that unit is fucked. Okay. Damn. Poor bastards. Well, besides the one guy that brought it, right? What an idiot. Lolo the Lookout.
Can I help you?
Time is money, friend.
Rico Nukem.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
Roger, welcome back to Uncensored. Maduro, there aren't many people out there flying the flag with this.
Whoa.
The idea that we would go flirting with multiple wars of choice.
The hell was
at
that
this
intro?
point, it's not left wing or right wing.
I'm gonna roll
it's
smoke and
just
then we're gonna
reckless.
start the grind.
The regime is still in
I just
place.
ate, so
What we did was depose the leader. We left
part
the
of the
vice president
ritual.
in place, and we said, act in a way that is appropriate in accordance with the law and our interests, or we're going to kill you.
He just did the regime change in Venezuela. He bombed Yemen and
he bombed
Somalia
drug
and
boats,
Nigeria
that's
and
true.
Iran.
He bombed
He's
narco
threatening
terrorists.
Greenland and Panama and
Somewhere.
Canada and Cuba and Mexico. And you sit there the whole time and act like it's okay. Is there anything...
Bro, could this retard be more of a soy boy? He's such a Kyle Kalinske is such a fucking loser, bro. I'm pretty sure this guy... Hang on, let me find it. I don't want to bury the lead. He's such a fucking idiot, bro. This is like the typical lefty, I've never done anything with my life, I've never seen anything in my life type fucking loser. Let me find it. Sunken treasure failed? Oh, that's timed apparently. Look at this fucking retard. This is Kyle Kalinske in a nutshell, okay? This is how retarded this loser is. This is land by the Colorado-Kansas border from a plane. Pretty cool. I have no idea why it looks like this. You mean farmland? But this is the guy that wants to tell you how the world works, by the way. Complete and utter moron.
You would say, I condemn it, and you hop off the Trump
And
train,
of course he
or
looks
you're
like
gonna
this,
take
right?
for the
Like,
rest of your life.
as if to prove my point, right? Like, bro, you don't look cool. You look like a retard, okay? And then you open your mouth and you take all.
We have
What's the word?
Military base. We have mineral connections.
You take all
And
doubts
so
away the moment you open your mouth, because everyone looks at you and thinks, 40-year-old, bleached hair, sunglasses on a professional, well, professional, quote unquote. It's Piers Morgan, right? On an interview show. Yeah, this guy must be an imbecile, and then he opens his mouth, and you're like, yep. I can judge a book by its cover. Hilarious to me, dude. Absolutely hilarious. I didn't even notice my camera wasn't up.
Last time President Trump faced an outpouring of angst over the apparent demise of America First, he made it very clear that it really means whatever he wants it to mean. Funny enough, it was airstrikes on Iran which triggered that debate. At the time of the recording, this looks entirely possible that recent history will be repeated.
Like, it's always the same for these lefty losers, right? They always look the same, they always say the same shit, and it's always so out of touch with actual reality.
Now the feverish talk is of an imperial Trump.
It's like, bro, you didn't even know what farmland was. Maybe shut the fuck up out of on like foreign policy and shit. You don't even know the simplest fucking thing, but you want to lecture other people on foreign policy? Sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, play with your hair dye, dude.
Venezuela, Greenland, Mexico, and Iran are in fact in the US national interest. What happened to just worrying about the price of eggs?
These people are all useless to our society. In fact, they're a net negative.
Really was in the US national interest all along. Well, joining me to debate all this is Dave Smith, host of Part of the Problem, Coleman Hughes, host of Conversations with Coleman at Free Press, Kyle Kalinske, aka Secular Talk.
Look at him, dude. What a fucking gay.
Truly stellar panel, even given the
my gaydar's going off, man.
We have, which I think you were discussing with Theo Von, in fact, Dave Smith, in a complimentary way. So thank you, and Happy New Year to all of you. Dave Smith, let me start with you. Welcome back to Uncensored.
Thank you.
There's a lot going on. You know, I decided to have a week off after Christmas.
Oh,
Big
whoops.
mistake. Never have a week off in the Trump administration. It seemed like all hell was breaking loose, and yet, if you park the rhetoric, which can be very incendiary on all sides, and you cut to the presumed ideology of what Trump is trying to do here, I do see the argument. I may not agree with all of it, but I see the logic of what he's trying to do and why he thinks it's in America's interest. And that applies to whether it's Venezuela and getting rid of Maduro, or whether it's the Iran situation and so on. Do you see the logic, even if you don't agree with it all?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no. I mean, Piers, it's
I mean, the logic is pretty simple, no? They got oil. Most of it's going to China. They want it, so they took it. Welcome to the real world.
Can say America First means whatever I say it means, but if America First meant one thing to everybody who's ever uttered the phrase, and then he wants to change that to mean America First means regime changes all around the world, huge, enormous, unthinkable bloated defense budgets like he just requested from Congress. And if he's going to think that none of his supporters are going to have a problem with that, or that they're all just going to change their views because he decided to change his, I think he's going to find out how well that works for him in the midterms this year. I think it's going to be a disaster. And, you know, obviously it's true, as you said, and we all know, Donald Trump will say all types of crazy things and then never follow through with that. But he also just asked Congress for a $1.5 trillion defense budget. And that, to me, does indicate that he is anticipating a real deal war coming up, or at least the possibility of it. And if he means the things that he says, I mean, I don't exactly know how you do that. I don't know how you say we run Venezuela and we'll dictate who the next regime is and we'll dictate where the oil goes without at least an effort of like 100,000 troops. I'm not even sure that would be enough to do it. So it's unclear what exactly the next move is going to be, and that's really when we'll find out what he's going to do. But no, Pierce, the idea that we're 38 or maybe 39 by the end of the show $1 trillion in debt right now. We have major problems in this country, and we have a hot war raging on in Europe, which is a proxy war between the entire West and the biggest nuclear armed power in the history of the world. The idea that we would go flirting with multiple wars of choice at this point, it's not left wing or right wing. It's just reckless. There's no wisdom in it.
Michael Knowles, I guess the argument against what Trump is doing is that many people who voted for Trump bought into the concept that what America First was take care of what's happening in your own backyard and stop meddling in foreign affairs. And now they're waking up almost on a daily basis to seeing Donald Trump proudly and aggressively talking about meddling in all sorts of foreign affairs. Is there a contradiction or hypocrisy, or even a betrayal of voters going on here?
Not really.
Not at all. First of all, Venezuela is in our own backyard.
Yeah, it's like literally. Hello? Manifest Destiny? I'm pretty sure that's what it is, you know?
It's been the policy of the United States in 1803 to
You guys need to fix your volume levels, I swear to God.
manage the Western Hemisphere. So that, that's a cornerstone of American foreign policy. I think it is charming that Dave is defining America First in the way that he prefers, and I think there are plenty of people who wish to do that. But Dave, though a very popular podcaster, had never won a presidential election, and Trump has been clear on what he means by America First, the political movement that he built, that people voted for in his coalition since the beginning. President Trump campaigned the first time around on destroying ISIS. So obviously that does not mean that America's only going to look inward. President Trump has carried out attacks, military operations that were extremely successful in Iran, in Syria, and Afghanistan, obviously in Venezuela. He's been talking about taking Greenland and even invading America's evil top hat, Canada, though I think he's mostly joking about that one, since the beginning. So that's what that means. And what it comes down to is that America is a global empire. We just are. People can be upset about that, but unless your geopolitics comes strictly from Reddit, if your geopolitics actually comes from history, you recognize that we've been an empire since the Louisiana Purchase, okay? And we've been a muscular global empire since the Second World War. So President Trump's vision, I think, actually rejects two extremes. It rejects a conservative isolationism, and it rejects liberal internationalism, and it posits a conservative imperialism that says that we are going to recognize our role in the world, but we are going to pursue that role in limited ways with America's interest at heart. So there's been no regime change in Venezuela. We're talking about regime change in Venezuela. The regime is still in place. What we did was depose the leader. We left the vice president in place, and we said, act in a way that is appropriate in accordance with the law and our interests, or we're going to kill you. That's very different than a Bushy-era neocon regime change in Iraq. Even when we're talking about Iran, the Trump administration has not gone in a particularly overt way yet, but even there, we would be talking about a restoration of the Pahlavi regime, most likely, that goes back to 1925. So I grant there are all sorts of risks to interventions, but we're the global empire, and frankly, even the American Revolution comes out of wars of global empire. It comes out of the 7 Years' War, which itself was a derivation of the War of Austrian Succession. To pretend that we don't have a role in geopolitics is to ignore all of American history.
Okay, Carl Kalinske, I can see you grimacing through a lot of what Michael was saying there. You said Trump says the US will run Venezuela and he threatens Colombia and Mexico. Arrest this psychotic motherfucker. Before I get you to expand on that thesis, I mean, the point I was making to Dave, if I want to elaborate on where I sit with this, because I've had a bit of time to look at this play out, is you look at Maduro. Everyone thought, my God, this is going to be World War III. Actually, Maduro's going to end up in a New York courtroom, and he's been got rid of. Everyone seems to agree that's a good thing for not just the Venezuelan people, but the world. No American troops died in what was an incredibly efficient surgical military strike to get him out of there. And if you have a more compliant leader of Venezuela, albeit part of the same regime, that can probably only be a good thing. If you look at the argument about Greenland, for example, I'd be struck by some of the people that I didn't expect to think this was a good idea. There was a British general last week talking about this, saying that from a strategic security point of view, it would make perfect sense for America to have Greenland. And is there a deal to be done? He didn't think invading it was the right thing, and nor do I. But is there a deal to be done with 60,000 people who live in Greenland that could actually improve the security of the United States and the West against the obvious threat from China and Russia and so on? And I can get through the others. Iran, getting rid of the Ayatollah and the mullahs is unquestionably a good thing for the world. It's how you do these things and whether you plan and prepare properly for what follows next that I think are the debatable points. And history says that's normally, unfortunately, been very badly done. But this is what I meant when I said to Dave that I understand the argument. I may not agree with all of it, but I do understand the logic to what Trump is doing here. Do you?
No, because we don't have a right to act like this around the world.
Yeah, you do. You have the biggest army in the world. Might makes right. It just is. That's how it is, man. That's how it always been. I swear to God, man. Can we start living in reality again? This whole bullshit of like, oh, I can't do that. You have a right to this. You have a right to that. Yeah, who enforces that? Oh, gotcha.
We're supposed to be a nation among nations, not a nation above nations. And they used to at least lie to us in the past and say that this is good for the world and we're spreading freedom and democracy. Now they don't even bother to lie. Now it's naked, rank, disgusting imperialism where they say, we're going to take the oil, and the point is that we're going to take the oil. We're going to take the minerals. We're going to take the precious metals. We're doing this for our corporations. We're doing it for the Epstein class, the billionaires. And this, to piggyback on what Dave Smith said, is frankly not what many of the MAGA voters thought they were signing up for. They thought America First actually meant America First. By the way, you also replaced the Maduro regime with the Maduro regime. Congratulations on that. It's also been now a week straight of pro-regime protests. Now you have roving gangs of Venezuelan militias that are kidnapping Americans. But again, I come back to the fundamental point, which is if you sign on to stuff like this, you're saying might makes right and the law of the jungle is back. What you're saying is China has a
It was
right
never
to
gone, dude.
Smaller country they want and depose the leader and say we're doing it because we
When
can,
was it
we have
ever
the right to do
gone?
it and we have bigger guns.
When was it ever gone? I'll wait.
Then there's nothing you can do to stop it. So they're never going to address that fundamental question, which is why do we have a right? Do we actually believe in international law, or was that all a joke? Are we rolling the clock back to the 1700s and the 1800s, and we're going super primitive style here? And I think the answer to that is yes, they want to go super primitive style.
Today's show is sponsored by Oxford Natural, makers of the Optimum Day and Optimum Night all-natural supplements. Thousands of Brits and Americans are already taking them with incredible results. Optimum Day boosts your energy and supports weight loss throughout the day. Optimum Night helps you relax and get deep, refreshing sleep. They have countless success stories, including from some very familiar faces. England legend Michael Owen, who lost 40 pounds, AFTV's Robbie, who lost more than 100 pounds. To watch their full stories and many more, scan the QR code on your screen or visit oxfordnatural.com/peers. And here's the best part. Use the code PEERS and get 70% off your first order. Yes, 70% off with the code PEERS.
International law goes back to antiquity. It's not some creation of modernity, whether we're talking about the 1700s or the 20th century.
The Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg Tribunal, excuse me, the Geneva Conventions and the Nuremberg Tribunal?
Yes, those exist, but
War II?
international laws, the jus gentium goes back to antiquity. However,
And the
unfortunately,
League
a lot
of
of our
Nations
liberal
was
friends think
useless,
history
so that's why
began
we had the
a few
UN.
decades ago.
Bro, this guy thinks the UN isn't useless. Like, That alone right there should disqualify this guy from ever being listened to, right? You think the UN does anything at all? It literally doesn't. Even when it sends troops, they don't give a fuck about the troops at the UN. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It's like, oh my god. Again, this guy didn't know what farmland was and looked like from the air, so please stop getting your talking points from a twat. Okay? For the love of God.
The League of Nations was useless. It fell apart, and that's why we had the UN. That's why we had the Geneva Convention.
Right, I'm talking about millennia ago,
because we looked
not
at
merely a
piles of
century ago. But
millions
it's true.
of
Woodrow
dead
Wilson
bodies,
failed.
and we said that's a bad idea. We looked at piles of millions of dead bodies and said that's a bad idea. Let's not do that anymore. Let's actually have a framework and rules and laws. And Trump is blowing that up. By the way, he bombed fishing boats from Venezuela, Trinidad, and Tobago, and Colombia. He just did the regime change in Venezuela. He bombed Yemen and Somalia and Nigeria.
You mean the
and
drug
Iran.
boats? Yeah.
He's threatening Greenland and Panama and Canada and Cuba and Mexico. And you sit there the whole time and act like it's okay. Is there anything Trump can do, Michael Knowles, that you would say, I condemn it, and you hop off
Blow
the
up
Trump
more
train,
drug
or
boats,
are you gonna
yes.
tickle his taint for the rest of your fucking life?
No, there have been plenty of Trump policies that I've criticized because he's only
We should
right
do
about
that too over here.
99.78% of the time. So the First Step Act I thought
Such
was
a
a
cuck.
misstep. But I would say the
Such a
rest.
cuck.
Excuse me. I would say the rest of the
Such a cuck.
the administration has been very successful. What's your problem? What's
My
what's your
problem is that
criticism?
you're a cuck and you're a hack and you're not an independent thinker and you're meat riding Trump.
Why do you
and
say?
The guy's like projecting massively right now. Oh, Michael Knowles is the hack. Gotcha. Not the idiot that doesn't even know what farmland looks like, right? No. That's the smart guy. What a retard, bro.
know that what he's doing in
I
his
just
area-
answered
These
But I don't
people
care.
are 100% a net negative for our society. Like, if you have ideas like this, you're a fucking danger to our society as a whole, dude. Because you'll just roll over, man. You'll roll over for anything.
I just
Yeah,
answered your question and I
99.78%.
corrected
Congratulations.
the
You rented your
misstatements that you
brain
made.
to a war criminal, pedophile, rapist. I hope you're happy.
A war criminal pedophile rapist? Do you you brought
Did
up
I
a
stutter?
point? You brought up international law, and you made a very false point, a dumb point, which is that international law began only a few hundred years ago. I corrected you, and I pointed out that the international law
you
is
didn't.
part of the Western tradition.
Yes,
Excuse
yes,
me,
you
one
did.
second. It goes back to antiquity. It's a principle of the jus gentium. And then you said, well, international law has failed because of the League of Nations failure, which I think is actually undermining your argument and proving my point and proving Trump's point, because the liberal internationalism that was established by people like Woodrow Wilson did in fact fail, which is why we need to restore an older and more classical conception of the international order, which is precisely what Trump's doing. So I think you've hoisted
Might
yourself
make
with
right.
your own petard,
Might
and then
make
you
right.
just make
Law
a
of the
lot
jungle
of
might make
vulgar
right.
sort of non sequiturs.
It's never
because you
been
don't
any
have a leg to
different,
stand on.
retards.
All right, let me bring in.
Let me ask you this question. Hold on, Piers. Let me ask him a question real
Bro, these people are so fucking dumb, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. These are all wars started in the last 20 years. Oh, I forgot you guys can't see that. Is it fucking? My bad. Let's do this again. These are all wars started in the last 22 years. Well, 23 by now, I suppose. Oh. At least 62 in the last 22 years. And it stops at 2019, so it doesn't even count the fucking Ukraine stuff, right? Like anything, there's been like 8 wars in the last 5 years, okay? So this idiot with the bleached hair and the sunglasses inside on an actual proper interview show, supposedly. Well, proper is it's Piers Morgan. Trying to be a regular interview show is an imbecile. He says the dumbest fucking shit. Might makes right. It's just, that's the way of the fucking world, man. Why do you think there's been 62? Let's add the 8. Let's say 70. It is probably more. there's been 70 wars in the last 20 years. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Your fucking la land imagination of what the world actually is a detriment. And every time you open your mouth, you try and, like, how do I say this? Spread your bullshit idea of what the world is like, and the world isn't like that. And if we have to follow your shit, we're gonna be run over in the next 10 years, okay? Like, these people are a literal net negative to our society. I truly believe that.
Oh, wait, tell me the name of the Minister of Defense in Venezuela.
I don't know. Whatever his name
Well,
is.
and that's the
Garcia
problem.
Who
You're
cares?
advocating for a regime change. You don't know the first thing.
I didn't. I
about
just
the
said the
country.
opposite.
You're
I
advocating
argued
for the
against a regime change.
He
Kyle,
actually
you have to
said
get
the
cotton
opposite.
out of your ears.
I heard Michael
Kyle, I just want to correct
I heard
something.
Michael
You said I'm
Knowles
arguing
say
for a regime
the
change. I
regime
disagree.
remains there, right? So he said the opposite, in fact. I want to bring in Coleman.
No, but he wanted to take out Maduro. Don't give me that cutesy little
Yes,
BS.
but he
That's
made
not
the
a regime
point that the
favor of the
regime
US
is still.
intervention.
He made the point the regime is still there, and the vice president appears to be much more compliant.
Like, they should be fucking celebrating this, dude. You had a surgical strike, you yoinked the fucking dictator, and nothing happens, right? It's a fucking perfect play, bro. It was a perfect fucking play. You should be applauding that shit, okay? The minimal amount of bloodshed, and all of a sudden, the region looks a hell of a lot different. Like, it's a fucking perfect play. I don't give a fuck what your political persuasion is. That shit was done perfectly. And to act like this is some bad thing is nuts, bro. Oh, it's not America first. Of course it's America first. You're literally going there for the fucking resources that were going to China, and now they're still gonna go to China, but now a lot of it is gonna go to the United States, which is America first. Like, oh my fucking god. I'm from fucking Belgium, Europe, so this doesn't affect me at all. And even I can tell, right? Like, the only way you don't think this is America first is because you have an agenda. And you're trying to fucking lie to the people that are watching this shit. And sadly, as it turns out, a good percentage of them are dumb enough to fucking fall for it.
With running Venezuela the way America would prefer for its national security than Maduro. So that's what Michael said. He didn't advocate regime change. Let me bring in Coleman Hughes.
Oh, these Alvin Gems are
He's
gonna...
the president is
Well,
not
hang on,
regime
Carl.
change,
Let me
it's an
bring
attempt
in
at regime change.
Coleman hasn't said a word yet. Coleman, what's interesting about you, I think, with this
He's
is
a definitely.
you've been, I think, striving to be quite nuanced with your take on all this stuff that's going on. And that's kind of where I found myself, is that sometimes taking a beat, looking at it from just a step away, and trying not to be too knee-jerk about all these things, often A, can be beneficial to your mental health, but actually can probably better, I think, represent what is really going on here. You know, everyone wants to go to extremes very, very quickly about everything and take a very tribal position. I've been struck by your, I think, you know, quite intellectual, honest attempt to be more nuanced. So what do you think about all this?
Thank you, Piers. I try to not think about these issues in terms of left versus right or Trump versus the opposition, and try to take each issue on its own terms. So let's do that. Venezuela. If the policy here is actual regime change, in other words, not just decapitating Maduro and replacing Maduro with a second worst alternative, if we were to actually affect regime change in Venezuela, that would almost certainly be a good thing for the people of Venezuela and for American interests. Now, if we're going to do this half measure where we just decapitate Maduro and replace him with someone just as bad and then get a bunch of oil, well, that would at best be probably neutral for the Venezuelan people. It would be an enormous waste of U.S. military resources, and I would be very critical of the Trump administration. The truth is, I don't know which path we're going down, right? It's very early.
Right.
We're getting different signals from Trump depending on the day, different signals from Rubio, and anyone who's confidently prognosticating that they know which path we're going down probably doesn't know what they're talking about. As for Greenland, I think the truth is Trump is extraordinarily reckless in his rhetoric here. We have a situation where we have an ally in Denmark, a NATO ally. We have deep relationships with Greenland already. We have a military base.
But here's the thing. If Europe did what it was supposed to do, and I'm from Europe, I'm very much in favor of this, but we should have done it 60 years ago, is make a fucking army, dude. Like, we could have rivaled the US army by now, easily. Easily. We had 80 years since World War II. 80 years since, well, a little smaller. It's like not exactly, but near 80 years of the EU, and we still don't have a fucking combined army. It's fucking ridiculous. And now we're whining. Oh, we can't do anything. Yeah, well, whose fucking fault is that?
We have mineral connections, and so the idea of taking Greenland by force.
We could have had a
against the
giant
will of
fucking
people
army
who
by
live
now,
there is
right? But the Europeans are fucking retards, bro. Like, we're governed by retards. We're governed by cowards that, like, just give all of the power that we had away. And now we're fucking useless. And Europe is like a joke in international fucking politics. And it's all because the leaders we have are useless cunts.
absolutely ridiculous. Now, that said, if we were to purchase it, I think that'd be a good thing. It'd have to happen with their consent. They would have to want it.
Right.
And I would welcome them as an American, but we absolutely cannot take it by force.
Right. See, that to me, Dave Smith, is part of the interesting part of all this. Is that
It's our system, dude. I'm gonna be honest. It's just, I was thinking about it now. It's definitely our system. Like, someone gets elected over here, and 8 different other parties do a coalition against him so he can't actually properly govern. Like, that's how our system works. It's fucking disgusting. It's fundamentally broken. From the ground up. Like, it doesn't matter who you vote for in my country, because there's always gonna be a coalition of the other on the other side that's just gonna fuck with everything and stop everything. Stop all of the progress that you make and still push their fucking retard ideas through.
Plays out. It's what actually Trump
It's actually
really
embarrassing.
wants to do. If he does an economic, I mean, take for example what China has been doing in Africa for the last 20 years.
You wanted
It's
to
been
have
going
something to
around
say, you
Africa
should have made an army.
pretty quietly, actually, unless you're actually in Africa.
You had 80 fucking
and it's
years.
been doing endless commercial deals with African
Now they're
countries
talking about it, by the
where
way.
they go in,
80
they
years
spend
later.
a lot of money on
Idiots.
infrastructure and hospitals and bridges and roads and all these things, and in return they get access to huge amounts of minerals. And that's been going on for 20 years. And that's a kind of economic imperialism. I see no ideological difference between that and what Trump is potentially talking about with Greenland, which is clearly incredibly important strategically, from a security point of view, from a mineral point of view, and so on. And there are only 60,000 people who live there, and it may well be that they're happy to do a deal if the price is right, in which case, what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, I'll say I pretty much agree with Coleman, I guess, on that. Like, if it's voluntary, then okay. I don't really know enough about Greenland to really speak on it intelligently, but I could not disagree more with the take on Venezuela. And I think it's crazy, Piers. I also think...
I mean, strategically, it's definitely the place to have.
25 years,
especially if you're
I'm not saying
American.
they're exactly
I know
the
this
same,
from Hearts
but
of Iron.
The idea that we're just talking about regime changes
And
in
every other
Iran
fucking
and
Paradox game.
Venezuela and saying it would undoubtedly be a good thing if this regime were to fall. Well,
pretty good position to
maybe,
have.
but there's a really important question of what comes next. And if you want to say that, like, you know, I mean, we've had a long history of regime changes in Latin America that have been disastrous too. We overthrew a communist government in the 50s in Guatemala, led to a civil war where hundreds of thousands of people died. So the idea that it's a guarantee that it would be a good thing if either one of these regimes fell, well, we certainly don't know that. And one of the other things we know is that you really don't get much of a say in what replaces the regime that falls unless you're willing to militarily occupy the country. And we've had regime change. We might be able to affect a full regime change without a military occupation, as we did in Libya.
I
as
got
we
8
did in
minutes to
Syria.
find one more.
But you know, those are not great examples where the country worked out. I mean, Syria is hanging on by a hair, and Libya is an absolute catastrophe. I mean, so it's just like, it's very reckless when you start playing. You know, you start dropping bombs on human beings, you start toppling governments, you start kidnapping or you know, taking, you know, leaders of countries. There's unintended consequences that come with all of these things. That's probably the one lesson in all of this military
70
history,
wars in the last
is that
20 years.
Nobody is smart enough to predict exactly what's going to come next. And so
The whole might
I just
makes
think
right
it's,
thing has always
you know,
been
I
a
see this
thing.
with the situation in Iran. I say Michael Knowles are there.
It's
like,
nice to have all these
they're-
ideals, but
it's
when
like
push comes to
hoist up the mission
shove,
accomplished
those ideals
banner.
mean jack
2
shit. It
days
means
after the strike,
the
we
only
have
thing that matters is who
absolutely
has
no
the bigger
idea what's
stick.
going to come of this. Obviously,
Welcome to the
in
real
the
world.
situation in Iran, just right in front of all of our eyes, Pierce. What
Is it
the
just?
goalposts
Obviously
have
not. Is it what it
moved
is? Yes.
from
So start leaving it.
Enriched uranium, which is what me and Coleman were arguing about a few months ago. That's out the window now, right? Nobody even cares about or is pretending there's a nuclear threat. Donald Trump's bragging about how it's obliterated. Then both Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump moved the goalpost to intercontinental ballistic missiles, and then that was the war propaganda for a couple months there. Now it's over whether they shoot protesters or rioters. Not even like an accusation that they're committing a genocide or are a threat to another country. They invaded their neighbor, nothing like that. So I would just say I think one of the most important lessons, and Michael, who's a history buff, would know that every last one of the founders of this country.
Did this guy just advocate for Iran?
Coleman were arguing about a few months ago. That's out the window now, right? Nobody even cares about or is pretending there's a nuclear threat. Donald Trump's bragging about how it's obliterated. Then both Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump moved the goalpost to intercontinental ballistic missiles, and then that was the war propaganda for a couple months there. Now it's over whether they.
This guy is defending Iran. Holy shit, dude! What a fucking scumbag, bro! A bunch of protesters, over 5,000. You call that a bunch? That's just a bunch, guys. It's just a bunch, guys. 5,000 people gunned down in the street by their own regime. It's just a bunch. Bro, this guy's a fucking piece of shit, dude.
Genocide or a threat to another country. They invaded their neighbor, nothing like that. So I would just say I think one of the most important lessons, and Michael, who's a history buff, would know that every last one of the founders of this country talked about this all the time, is that you want to be sober and calm and rational. You want to not intervene when you don't need to. There's all types of unintended consequences that can come from these things. And that's why the advice of the founders was be friends with the world. Don't get into entangling alliances. Don't search for monsters to destroy, to fight unnecessary wars. These are
Dave,
all wars of choice.
Every new year, I think about what a real fresh start for me. It always begins at home. Cozy Earth is my go-to for a winter blues-busting reset. They've just launched their new Baja bedding set, and you really need to check this out. It's their first fully matching collection. Sheets, duvet cover, quilt, coverlet, all inspired by the soothing tones.
Like, please, guys, start living in the real world.
The designs
For
are
fuck's
classy,
sake.
the fabrics are premium, and they'll give your bedroom an elevated resort-like look. And the Cozy Earth product that I use every day, the Luxe Bath Towels. These towels are incredible.
Oh, I didn't
Made
actually.
from cotton and bamboo.
Wait, I did loot it. What?
With zero
Am I
twist
fool?
technology.
No.
So they're plush, absorbent, and feel like a warm hug.
Oh,
when you
charts.
step out
That's
of the
something
shower.
else.
Everything comes with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. So start the new year.
I got
with
5
real
minutes.
Comfort. Go to cozyearth.com and use my code PIERS, P-I-E-R-S, for up to 20% off. That's cozyearth.com, code PIERS. And if you get a post-purchase survey mentioning you heard about Cozy Earth, right here.
Well, speaking of the founders and the American relation to foreign affairs, what was our first big international war? Was it the Iraq War? Was it the Gulf War?
Yeah, you're talking about the Barbary Pirates or whatever. I don't know.
I'm talking. You're right. I'm talking about 1801, Dave, and it was actually our founding fathers who waged that war.
Okay, but Dave,
So it goes back to
right
Jefferson waged the war. Whatever. We don't have real time to get into that, but sure, we got 5 wars here.
We have plenty of time, Dave, but you don't want to get into it because it undercuts your argument.
No, I'm happy, Michael. If you want to come on my podcast, I'll do 2 hours on the Barbary Wars with you. The point is that we're trying to talk about the 5 conflicts going on right now. Sure.
Okay, let me address the Venezuela point.
Sure.
Dave.
Let me see. Coleman might have something smart to say.
Yeah. So you're totally right. There is always a risk to regime change, and I don't mean to downplay that. But you have to factor in there is a risk to letting rogue regimes that, for instance, in the case of Venezuela, invite Hezbollah into the country, buy weapons from all of our adversaries, Iran, China, Russia, etc. A regime that has literally run this country, which used to be one of the wealthier countries in Latin America, into the ground, to the point that people are literally eating wildlife. They're breaking into zoos, eating cats and dogs because this regime has totally destroyed the country. There is a risk to allowing a country like that to just continue doing whatever it's going to do. And so the idea that inaction has no risks is one thing I want to flag as a false argument. And the second thing I want to say is you're quick to reach for analogies to the Middle East, and I understand that. I mean, the American public has lost so much faith in the American political class because of our interventions in the Middle East. And the lesson I think you've drawn and other people have drawn is that therefore regime change is always wrong. I don't think that that's the right lesson. I mean, to me, that's analogous to taking the lesson
What?
from World War II.
Okay, it's still tied
that
to this.
regime change is always right because it
We went through
works
the
if you
goddamn
hand it over.
floor.
The truth is, it's different
That's
depending
cheating.
on the situation on the ground. In most of the middle, you're talking about Iraq, Syria, Yemen. You're talking about deeply sectarian countries with deep divisions, countries that are
We made it just in
essentially
time.
civil wars waiting to happen if the lid comes off. Venezuela is not a country like that. Again, the risk is not zero.
No, I'm gonna
but
die.
It's not a sectarian country. It was a functioning country for a very long time, and so the risk of civil war type outcomes like Syria and Iraq is just much lower than it is in the Middle East.
So what about
Can I respond to that? Can I please
hang
respond to that?
hang on.
Yes, please.
Hang on. I
Leave
wanna just
Britney
censor it,
alone.
Actually, just on this point, let's bring it right up to date with Iran, Coleman, if I may, because depending on who you listen to, there's a revolution going on, driven by the people to depose an incredibly unpopular regime that's been there since 1979. Are we seeing the potential for civil war there? Are we seeing a revolution that should happen organically without any interference or aid? Is Trump right to say we're going to stand up for protesters who want freedom and democracy against a tyrannical regime and so on? In other words, all the things that we've been discussing about other scenarios, let's bring it to Iran. What's your view of what's happening there?
Well, Iran is, I think it's, you're asking me, Piers?
Yeah.
I think we should support the opposition, absolutely. I don't think we should put boots on the ground. I agree with Dave. Our record in the Middle East recently, I think, precludes that for many reasons, just practical reasons. But we absolutely should support the opposition. Iran was a country that was a semi-functional democracy for a very long time. In a lot of ways, it's a more coherent country, a more coherent body politic than Iraq, Syria, and Yemen, etc. So again, I think the odds of success for a revolution there are higher. But that's not saying much, considering that the region is.
Do you guys see the guy,
volatile to be.
The ambassador to Geneva from Iran was like, "Yo, asylum, please."
Hey, how you doing?
I don't know, dude. When your ambassadors start, when the rats start leaving the sinking ship, I think you might be done.
Begin with, so I totally support the opposition. I want to see the Islamic regime go down on their terms, and we should do what we can to support that, short of full-scale military intervention.
Okay, Michael Knowles, what do you feel about Iran?
Come on, Pierce, let me respond to that.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll come to Michael.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, you respond, then we'll come to Michael.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Iranian diplomat in Geneva seeks asylum in Switzerland. I wonder if they're losing power.
And look, I mean, even if you're going to say that, well, we have a bad track record of regime change in the Middle East, I mean, I think I've made this point. I think I saw your point coming, and that's why I said, yeah, we also have a terrible track record of regime change in Central and South America, and that's why I gave the example of
Fire.
Guatemala.
Which one is this
Nicaragua,
arcade? Maybe I should take the arcade, because I am fire. See if I do the fire.
It didn't do anything.
I should probably go for the money.
And Coleman, yeah, fair enough. There's a risk to inaction the same way there's a risk to action.
I need a mount.
But the risk to action is to our boys and our budget and bankrupting our country. And so it's just a totally different risk that you take on when you intervene than when you don't. And I gotta say, Coleman, these are the same arguments that were used in Iraq. What you said about Nicaragua.
Bro, I don't have the
Venezuela
fucking
and
teleport
Iran.
stone.
This is why the neocons said we were going to be greeted as liberators. Chalabi had assured them
Sit
that the
the
people hated
Sarch.
Saddam and they were going to be pro-American.
Fuck.
And you said there's not sectarian conflict in Venezuela. I mean, Venezuela. No, of course there is. It's the mixed European elite class, and then the majority of natives, and that's who Chavez and Maduro always carried. At least I know in Chavez's election, that was always his base. And I agree with you, man. It is true that that government has ruined that country. I am not. I hate socialism as much, if not more, than anybody on this panel. But the thing is, it was a communist government in Guatemala too, and the civil war that killed hundreds of thousands of people there didn't make it better for them. And so I just think that the idea that we're so confident we should back the resistance in Iran. Well, we also had regime changes in that region that didn't require huge numbers of boots on the ground, and they were catastrophes too. And to hear you guys talk about the most likely thing is that, because now you understand we have to spread hereditary monarchy. We're not bringing democracy anymore. The idea that the Shaw's kid is going to walk in there and take power. I say, of all the crazy things Donald Trump has said, that was one thing that I think he got right. Yeah, I don't think he's got the juice. And the options of what would arise in either of these conflicts, there's at least a strong possibility that there'd be tons of conflict and a worse government, if not just as bad a government at the end of the day.
Okay, Michael Knowles, the latest Polymarket odds on Iran. US strikes 77% likelihood. Khomeini, the Ayatollah, out by end of January, I think is now up to 24%. Fall of the Iranian regime by 2028, 47%. So the money's moving in the predictive world.
2027. Learn how to read.
This is the beginning, as the Chancellor of Germany says. This is the beginning of
You
the
put it on
end of
screen
that
too, bro.
regime.
Come on.
But we have been on this rodeo a few times in Iran, and it's been brutally repressed in the past. What do you think is going to happen here? And in terms of that point Dave makes, when things happen organically,
I forgot I still had it that big.
fall of the Berlin Wall.
My
we
bad.
remember watching that, how good
My
that
bad.
felt. And it didn't need outside direct military intervention. Is it not better for America to sit back and watch the Iranian people determine their own future in the way that appears to be happening than potentially cause mayhem by directly interfering on their behalf?
Well, I think those are two separate points, and I think my friends on this panel are taken with a lot of abstract ideology, whether it's libertarianism or leftism. I'm a little more interested in practical politics. So what I think is most important here is that Iran remains orderly and does not descend into total chaos. Iran is a real country with a more of a unified history, and also that the Iranian people do better. Obviously, the Islamic Revolution was terrible for them. It destroyed their material conditions, led to a huge erosion of their rights and liberties, and so it's worth remembering that the policy of the United States has been for regime change in Iran since 1979. So the Iranians have been undermining our interests all around the world for a very long time, not just looking at the recent Iraq war where they killed over 600 Americans, but going all the way back to the 1983 Beirut barracks bombings, going back to the attack on U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia in 1996. I think we would all agree, I hope we're all mature enough to agree, that nations have interests, especially when you are a major power or a hegemonic power as the United States. We have interests around the world. Dave keeps pointing to his displeasure over one intervention in Guatemala. The United States has intervened for 150 years, 88 times in Latin America. It's usually worked out very well. Sometimes it hasn't worked out well. But what would have been worse is if we had let, during the Cold War, the Soviets get a hold in Latin America. What is worse is allowing communists to run roughshod, both from the perspective of the people there, as well as from the interests of the United States.
New Year is all about starting afresh, and today's sponsor will help you to do exactly that. Mando Whole Body Deodorant is created by doctors and clinically proven to block odor for up to 72 hours. Powered by
Mando.
acid. It's free of all the bad stuff like baking soda, paraben, and aluminium. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando men get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. You'll find it in many top retailers, or you can head to shopmando.com. For a limited time, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use the
Don't
code
mask it, Mando it. What the fuck? This ad read, holy shit. I love it. They like in all the bad ways.
Please support our show.
That's hilarious.
Tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered. So, Michael, let me ask you this, because this point resonated with me this week, which I thought was a powerful one. If America looks like it's just ignoring
Don't mask it, Mando.
if it thinks it can just go into Venezuela,
That's so dope.
kidnap the president, put him in a courtroom in New York, act with impunity, take Greenland if it wants, etc., etc. What is to stop America's enemies using the exact same argument to do what the hell they like? For example, Vladimir Putin
Might.
is there going, well, hang on, every argument.
Weird
about
how that
why I invaded
works.
Ukraine,
It's almost like my makes.
smoke, isn't it? I mean, it's the same argument. I wanted to do it. It's in my national security interest. You've got the President Xi probably looking at it going, well, why can't I take Taiwan then?
Oh, yeah,
If-
that's
if
right.
the
We did that
Americans
already.
can take Greenland
Shit.
because it's in their
Oh, on the
national
bright side, I didn't have to pay
security
money.
interest, then I want Taiwan.
Pay
And
anything.
how difficult does it then become for the West and America leading the West to take any high moral ground or to stop it happening in any way if they've already trampled on international law themselves?
I think that first of all, I disagree with the premise, but second of all, I think my ideological friends on this panel seem to be quite mistaken about a basic premise here, which is they seem to believe that the United Nations or something is what keeps our enemies from running roughshod over the world, American interests and other people's.
It's
That's
gold
not true.
guns.
You know what stops our enemies? We do. The might of the United States is what stops us. Now, the reason I disagree with you.
Nobody gives a fuck about the UN. Not even the people in the UN give a fuck about the UN. Let's be honest.
First of all, the Monroe Doctrine, now the Donroe Doctrine.
It's a useless institution.
American foreign policy, basically since the beginning.
Utterly.
But two, there was a legal predicate for the removal of Maduro that goes back
What are they gonna do? Write a letter?
in 2020, and this has really gone back about 25 years now. Let us not forget it was the Biden-Harris administration and Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, who called for the arrest of Maduro and actually offered $25 million to anyone who could advance it. So the only difference between the Republican action here and what the Democrats called for just 1 year ago is that Trump was actually able to do it, and he saved $25 million doing it.
Why
So it was
should
more
but by
efficient.
that logic,
That's the argument.
But
That's
by that,
the
hang on,
argument
but,
that Trump,
by that
got
logic,
Biden's policy done.
Well, by that logic, Michael, why should President Xi not be able to go into Taiwan and take the leader and put him in a Chinese
Wait,
court?
sorry. Why is that a bad thing? He was elected on such policies, right? And I'm not saying Trump, I mean Biden. And he didn't get it done, but Trump got it done. Isn't that then a good thing? Why are you laughing about that? Explain the rationale for laughing there. Oh yeah, but it's a Biden thing. Yeah, but the people wanted it, right? Fucking loop. Oh my god, I hate all of these people, dude. Like, I hate them so much, bro. They're all such grifters, dude.
By that logic.
Can I address that, Piers?
He's got no answer, Piers.
I'm happy to answer.
Well, let Michael answer, then I'll
We
come
can
to
stop
you.
interrupting before. Yes. So the only reason that she has not gone into Taiwan so far is because the United States has told she not to. From the point of international law, there is also another confusion because international law is a real thing. Many of my fellow conservatives
my
want
money.
to pretend that there is no such thing as international law and that might merely makes right, but that's not true.
Yes.
Law is an ordinance of reason, so we can actually know something about it, and it objectively exists, even though it's not material.
Theoretically, I can get a
However,
mount
what
now,
passes
but
for
I need to
international law these days,
train
specifically
spells
over the last
eventually.
100 or so years, is a bunch of liberal gobbledygook nonsense, which even my friend here, Kyle Kalinske, points out doesn't work, which is why the League of Nations failed and the UN has largely failed. So there is such a thing as natural law, but it is affected through political powers. And right now, the only thing stopping Xi from going to Taiwan, the only thing that has stopped Vladimir Putin from running roughshod over Ukraine is not some abstract concept in the clouds. It's the might of the United States empire and our allies around the world, and that is what will continue to stop them.
But I don't think.
And a stronger America will stop them.
I don't think we're gonna
I
do
won't
this.
bring you in now, but I don't think that it has stopped Putin running roughshod over Ukraine. He just invaded
He
it.
hasn't taken the country yet.
Well, he invaded it. Took as much as he could, but the Ukrainians have put up a much bigger fight than he thought they could. But I don't think Putin's intentions have been remotely thwarted.
Let me sell first.
I don't think
Well,
America's
he only
done.
invaded because of Biden. So, frankly, had Trump stayed, I don't think he would have even invaded. But it's true. He did he was able to run some roughshod over it during Joe Biden. But there was no floating international law. Let's not forget, he invaded before the supposedly awful attack on Venezuela.
But he has. I mean,
And
look.
there's
Yeah,
talk
but the
about
thing is,
installing
Michael,
Palladio.
Putin has continued to act with total impunity in Ukraine, regardless of anything Donald Trump has said publicly, either in
Precisely.
a friendly or unfriendly manner. He doesn't seem to care. I think if Putin could take the whole of Ukraine tomorrow, he'd take it. I think that's
But Piers,
always been
that's
his
my
ambition.
point, I guess. That's my point. I don't think that America's very successful strike on Venezuela is going to do one thing. Now, it will not change one iota of Putin's calculation.
No, but that's my point. My point to you is that when it comes to Taiwan, I'm not sure that American power is the limiting factor for the calculations by people who run countries like Russia and China that you seem to think it is. Because I think Xi would have looked at Ukraine and thought, well, what's America actually done to stop
The hell?
Putin
Piers,
taking as much
do you
as
think
he
that
can?
international
I got high-chained
law is gonna
again.
limit Chairman Xi?
Well, no, I don't
got a bridge in
actually.
Brooklyn
I
to
do
sell
think
you.
the concept of international law has been twisted and torn apart so badly that I'm actually uncertain what it really means anymore. Because people don't seem to. I mean, if you look at what Israel's done in Gaza, I would say they've trampled over international law with utter impunity, and they don't care. And
reasonable minds can differ, but I agree that's a good point on the
No, they can't.
murkiness of international law.
Yeah, okay, Kyle.
Yeah, well, I mean, I find this whole conversation preposterous because the idea that we're the moral arbiter of anything
do I need for?
is
That's
honestly
20
laughable.
silver.
Trump is himself a criminal. He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He's covering for a billionaire pedophile cabal as we speak. We armed and funded a genocide in Gaza. We also armed and funded a genocide committed by Saudi Arabia in Yemen. If there's any country on earth where there's some semblance of a sound argument to do regime change, it's our regime being changed. So I don't want to open the door to this might makes right law of the jungle nonsense. And everybody else except Dave, seemingly on the panel, is in favor of that. And I don't want to live in that world. There's gonna come a time
America
where
has
we're
a
not the most
mechanism.
powerful country.
Carl, hang on. America has a mechanism for regime change. It's called the election every 4 years. And the truth is, Americans had a good, long, hard look at.
You're making my point.
Well, no, I'm not.
This is my point.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm saying you live in a free democratic society with free democratic
Typo.
elections. That's why Trump won in 2016. That's why he lost in 2020, whatever he wants people to think. And that's why he won again in 2024. That is regime change, how it should happen.
We back 73% of the world's dictatorships. The idea that we say, here's the dictator we don't like, we're going to overthrow them, is ridiculous. By any objective standard, Netanyahu is worse than Maduro, and we're not overthrowing him.
Well,
so the whole conversation is absurd.
And I sold them too, man. I was like, oh, I got the next one. I'm gonna sell these. That's like I did that last night. Shit.
This is about the oil. It's about the natural resources.
Oh, I didn't.
It's about stealing after the corporations and the billionaires. So the whole conversation about, you know,
I think it could be. I actually
ideals
think
is useless.
okay, look, I think Venezuela can be about a number of things at the same time. That's why I think nuance is an important factor in these things. It can be
but
part.
that's the
Well, hang on, Kyle.
Can it just be pointed out?
It can be about oil. It can be about oil. It can be about Maduro being a gangster. It can be about a number of things.
This was
Trump's a gangster.
sold to us.
Trump's a gangster.
All right.
Bro, I just want one.
Isn't it funny that we have this whole conversation, and while you're saying it could be about all these things, you know what no one's bringing up? Drugs. And that's what it was sold to us as.
Right.
Just like all these other wars, they just lie through their teeth. Has nothing to do with the drug problem or
It's
a
in
tiny
part about
fraction of it, and nothing to do with the fentanyl problem, which is the real crisis. It's a total pretext for war. And you know, I gotta say, man, by the way, I kind of agree with Michael on the concept of international law. But the thing about it is that this is totally illegal by our own law, by the Constitution of the United States of America, which every politician puts their hand on a Bible and swears before all of us to God that they will do everything in their power to defend and execute. There was no imminent attack here. Donald Trump had all the time in the world to go to Congress and get permission for this, and he just didn't want to. You know, and if you want to just say, like, by the way, Mike, it's funny because you point out I'm a libertarian or Kyle's a leftist. Ironically, we're the only ones taking the conservative position here on this. We are not an empire.
So?
Actually, the Supreme, yes, that's actually right. There's a long tradition. Do you know your history on this,
There's a
Michael?
long tradition of libertarians telling conservatives what we believe. And I'm sick of it for one.
No. There's a long tradition of the best conservatives having the exact same foreign policy I do, and then a bunch of former communists who were atheists convinced you guys that it was right-wing to support wars everywhere. By the way, the Monroe Doctrine
convinced Thomas
even,
Jefferson in 1801. I don't know about that.
No. I'm not talking about the Barbary Wars. Okay, anyway.
Or the Monroe administration, or the Roosevelt administration.
Dude, do you even know what the Monroe Doctrine is? You say the Monroe Doctrine means that we get to run our hemisphere? No, it doesn't.
No,
the Monroe Doctrine.
We keep our
Michael, let me finish a thought, and then you can respond to it. No, that's not actually true. It meant that Europe couldn't have any more colonies here, and in turn, we wouldn't interfere in Europe. By the way, it's not a law. It's something a president said once in a speech, and it hasn't been the cornerstone of our foreign. It hasn't been. Have we not interfered in Europe? Have we not interfered in Europe for over 200 years? Is that what you're telling me, Michael?
And then we became the world empire.
That's true. Right, exactly. So we abandoned the Monroe Doctrine. We never followed it at all. And the Monroe Doctrine never said, they said that Europe couldn't establish more colonies. They already had several. That they couldn't establish more colonies. It didn't say that if there's a country that does a mineral deal with a country somewhere else because we won't allow our companies to do it with them, that therefore we can topple the leader. This is completely illegal by our own Constitution.
I'm happy to explain this. It's true. In 1823, the Soviet Union did not yet exist, and other adversaries around the world did not yet exist. We have expanded the notion that European powers, which were a threat to us, should not interfere in the Western Hemisphere to those other adversaries as well, who you recognize are adversaries. It seems to me where the big difference here on the panel is that you, Dave, at least will acknowledge that America has interests and there are bad regimes. You're making some crazy claims that the Constitution doesn't allow the United States to be commander-in-chief of the army. You're making a crazy claim that Congress.
No, I'm
needs
not.
to
I'm saying
declare
it
this
doesn't
right
allow
away
them
as
to
well. It's not
declare
true.
a war.
You're making a crazy
Yeah,
claim that it was.
this-
Excuse me. You're making a crazy claim that it was somehow illegal to follow a court order from 2020 to take out Maduro and arrest him. Anyway, you're making all sorts of crazy.
Is that
claims,
how
but
we
you're
do
making a
foreign
good
policy,
claim.
by
Hold on
court
one second,
order?
guys.
Yes.
One second. I'm happy to. The difference here is, Dave, you at least acknowledge America has interests, and you're saying because we
No, who
sometimes
doesn't
make
acknowledge
mistakes.
that?
Hold on one second. I'm just trying to get my point out. Because we sometimes make mistakes, you're saying that we should not pursue those interests, or you're saying that the
No.
consequences could be worse. The point that Kyle is making is actually different from yours. Kyle's
But
point is
here's-
that America
instead
has
just
interests,
say-
and we should oppose those interests because he thinks that America is the great Satan or
look,
something.
That's
No,
not-
I'm
that's not
actually
what I'm
making an
saying at
argument.
all.
Thank you
All
for
right,
the
guys,
straw
guys,
man.
hang
I'm
on,
actually
hang
making
on.
an
We're
argument
running a
of
bit,
law
we're running a
and
bit out
order
of time.
and
and I
intelligence
do-
in foreign policy.
Hang on a sec, Carl.
Thank you very much.
I think we've covered this well. I do want to move.
You're welcome, farmland boy.
I want to move to Minnesota.
I can't get
I
over
wanna
that.
start
The
with
fact that you
Colin,
know
if
what
I may.
farmland looks like is just
This has been another huge story.
peak
in the last
leftism.
and it goes to domestic law. It's, I think, a complex story, again, that requires a nuanced view. And I'll lay mine out, Coleman, just for the record. I've watched this video a dozen times or more from every potential angle. And it is my belief that it is utterly ridiculous to categorize what this woman, Renee Good, was doing as domestic terrorism. I see somebody who got a little panicky as the ICE guys came towards her and decided to drive away, and that the ICE guy in front of her car, who coincidentally a few months earlier got dragged by a car for a sustained period of time and had injuries as a
Doesn't matter
result,
legally, though.
potentially affecting his judgment in a similar situation, I suspect will be a key part of this. He reacts in a equally panicky way and shoots her 3 times. And I
Dude
don't
got
see
hit,
him
though.
as a cold-blooded murderer who did this
Like,
deliberately.
wait, but he got hit by the car. Like, but I feel like you're leaving out a key bit of information there, Mr. Pierce Morgan. What the fuck?
As a way to murder somebody for the hell of it. I don't see her as a completely blameless part of this. I think she took decisions which led her down a path which I think were extremely unfortunate and, as it turned out, deadly for her. In other words, I think it's quite a complex story, which if you freeze frame it right down to every grab we've seen, anyone who thinks they have an absolute certainty about what happened here, I think is lying. And I think they're just, again, moving to the tribal place. This has to be this because my side believe this, or it has to
It's
be
on
this
video.
because my side believe that. Am I wrong?
I couldn't agree more, Piers. I want to separate 2 issues really quickly. I'll get to the tragic death of Renee Good, but first, I want to separate the issue of how ICE officers are behaving in Minnesota in general, right? Right now, social media is being flooded with videos of ICE officers needlessly escalating situations, questioning U.S. citizens who
Now do the purity tests, the videos from the other side. If you don't do that, again, lie by omission, which is, it's still a lie, guys. So I'm just saying that if he doesn't talk about the other side doing the purity testing, which is fucking crazy, by the way, that's Gestapo, that's actual Gestapo shit, all right? Going up to some random dude, hey, you've got an SUV, or can you prove you're not ICE? And then fucking laying in on him until he does, right? Or the fucking, yeah, multitude of videos on that as well. So if that doesn't come up in this guy's speech, this guy's a fucking liar, okay? Lying by omission is still a fucking lie.
legally do not have to answer any questions. Some ICE officers seem to be under the impression that you're not allowed to film them. You are allowed to film them. And even, the worst part of this is that the Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security, seems to have indicated to ICE officers that filming them is the same as doxing them, which it's not.
I'm even gonna notice the difference.
So there is, obviously, I think there's probably tons of ICE officers not getting videoed that are doing their jobs responsibly, and it's a tough job and it's a dangerous job, and I respect that. But there's a lot of ICE officers that are just running roughshod over all of their responsibilities as officers. And they're being fanned on by the administration. I think that's really important to say up front.
What a big surprise. The guy's a liar.
Now, let's separate that from the issue of Renee Good, who was tragically killed by Jonathan Ross. Now, here, Piers, you're right to point out there are so many critiques of how this officer and his partner handled the situation. why you know, officers are trained not to be in front of a car to begin with, right? That's one on a laundry list of ways in which this was terrible policing.
She backed up and put him in front of the
A lot
car.
of prominent Democrats are saying that this is murder. Murder. That is a legal term with a legal standard. Now, if this goes to trial, you know, it's likely to get removed to a federal court, which is going to be favorable for the officer. And what the jury is probably going to be instructed is, if this officer had reason to believe he could have suffered bodily harm, he or his partner could have suffered serious bodily harm, then by statute, he's authorized to use deadly force. What the jury is going to be instructed if he felt he was in serious danger. Now, we get the benefit of seeing 5 different angles on the video in slow motion over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So we can come to the conclusion that, yeah, he was out of line of the car during those second and third shots. But he didn't have that advantage. He experienced
0.7
that
seconds,
in
by the way.
real time, in the blur of real life.
Bang, bang,
The
bang.
whole
That was it.
interaction was less than
Oh,
2 seconds.
2 and 3
and
were
he had one
unjustified.
shot
Shut the
at it.
fuck
Not
up.
only that, his partner had his hand through the window, which, as you said, is precisely the situation that had put him in the hospital 6 months prior.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to convince a jury that he didn't have reason to believe he was in risk, or his partner, of serious bodily harm.
I think from a legal perspective, I think you're probably right, and I think a jury may well end up making that determination.
Fully
based on
justified,
the application
in my
of the
opinion.
law. But Kyle, you know,
It's too far
I
away.
talked about both sides taking sort of implacable, incendiary positions. You compared ICE agents to Nazis, described the officer as an ICE thug who murdered a woman on camera by shooting her in the face. I mean, you're determining there that what we have watched with our own eyes, because we got the benefit of seeing all the videos, is somebody making a deliberate calculation to murder that woman for no reason.
I think he did. I think he did. And
Why
I think
would
if
you do
study
that?
the video closely, well, I'll explain it to you.
Study the
First of
video
all,
closely.
these guys
Shut
are
the
all roided
fuck up.
freaks. Let's point that out.
There's
These are
multiple
like
videos.
Proud
How
Boys,
about the one where he clearly
white
gets hit by the car?
nationalists, you know, the
Oh,
dregs of
not that one.
society who have now been given a
Not
gun
that
to
one. We
their
don't want
head.
to. No, don't watch that
That's
one.
generalization. And again, I don't think that helps.
This is
That
like-
kind of-
Let me finish.
Oh my
that kind of
God.
generalization
You wanna
doesn't help
disrupt
your
the point?
argument. It makes you sound
No,
equally
but I don't,
deranged.
no. I don't care about convincing
Much
you
more.
guys with your cult of fake nuance. I care about speaking to the American people who saw with
God
their eyes
forbid we
what's
should have
happening.
nuance.
Yeah, because it's fake nuance. That's the problem. You have J.D. Vance out there saying that this guy should have absolute immunity. Absolute immunity? So
I
if
don't
you
agree.
rape somebody, he should be able to get off? This is fucking
mean, she
ridiculous.
hit him with it.
Absolute immunity.
I don't
We went
agree.
from
Nor
nobody's
do
above
I
the law in
think.
this
Nor do
country.
I think, Kyle. Nor do I think that Renee Good was deliberately trying to run over this ICE officer.
That
just
I
don't
agree
think
with.
that-
She just
Okay,
didn't
and
care
that
if she
was
did.
trying to kill her.
that she was trying to do that or to cause him
Correct,
bodily
she
harm.
wasn't.
I think it was quite clear from the wheel positioning that she was trying to drive away. And the guy
Hold on, Piers.
was ignoring his
That's
training,
right. And here's the
standing in
thing,
front of
Piers,
her,
if you
and he
watch
had
closely-
a past incident which
That
probably
I don't agree with that at all. He didn't like. You could see the car back up, and then all of a sudden now he's in front of the goddamn car. What the fuck do you mean? Of course he's gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot. Most normal people would shoot.
in the moment made him fear the same thing was going to happen.
Piers,
and he
hold
shot
on.
him.
We have to have one
If you
factual
watch
correction
closely,
here.
This
Just
fucking
one little bit to inject
soy
back.
boy would
I
shoot,
never
dude.
even made
We
the
just need
fucking
one little
point I was
correction
trying
here.
to make
Alright,
at the
don't talk at the
beginning,
same time.
and
The
the
guys are
wheels
talking
were
over
aimed
me.
at the cop when
Let
she
me-
accelerated.
All right, Kyle,
wheels
Kyle,
were
I'll come
aimed
back
at
to you.
the
Let-
cop. She
no,
accelerated.
no,
Kyle,
they
I will,
weren't.
Yes.
Kyle, I will come back to you.
Yes.
Let Michael just interject on this one point.
She literally spins out on the ice, bro.
Look,
We all have eyes. We could all see that very clearly.
Anyway, happy that she died. She was in that position, one, because her lesbian partner said, drive, baby, drive, drive. The lesbian partner then said, it's my fault. I told
Why
her
is
to
it
be out
relevant
here."
that she's a
Wait,
lesbian?
hold on one
Michael?
second.
Why
Well,
is
no,
that
hang
relevant?
on.
Because
But
she's the
Michael,
partner.
No, you
no,
interrupted
Kyle,
me.
don't
Now I'm
talk-
interrupting.
Kyle.
Why is it relevant that
Calm
she's a
down.
One
lesbian?
second, Kyle.
My
I'm
god,
gonna
dude,
just
this guy
try-
is
Actually,
like,
I would say
ooh.
it's
Shut the
irrelevant
fuck
that
up,
she's
kids.
a
What the
lesbian.
fuck, dude?
Secondly, drive
Holy
drive
shit.
can be an entreaty
Lol,
to drive
lol,
away,
lad.
which is what I think she was doing. Thirdly, the demeanor of Renee Good in the final video that
Like,
came
in-
out shows some.
It would actually be extremely hilarious if it wasn't about such serious topics, right? Like, unbelievable, bro. My god. Start living in reality, guys. She clearly accelerated, pointed directly towards the fucking guy, and then spun out, right? If there was no ice there, and I mean the shit on the floor, not the guys, she would have hit him right then and there. That's the whole reason he takes out the gun in the first place. Like, these people are so They're such liars, bro. Such obvious liars. It's kind of crazy that a lot of people are like, I'm gonna believe that because I agree with him politically. It's disgusting, bro.
Somebody pretty calm, certainly not confrontational, certainly doesn't look to me like somebody intent on mowing down an ICE officer. I think she just wanted to get out of there.
And she didn't care if she hit anybody.
Because
Because she did hit somebody. And she got shot for it. Tragic, yes. But you get what you... If you play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes.
I'm not mad, that means she isn't mad. I think anyone who's ever interacted with a woman knows that's not what that phrase means. Second of all, we don't have to just judge by
That's
her
kinda funny.
words. She accelerated. You can look at it in the footage while the tires are aimed at the cop. And this is a message. I feel bad for...
You can't know that. Oh, what's this? Oh, what fuck is that? Motherfucking lying piece of shit. Well, what the fuck is that? Look where those tires are pointed. And notice them accelerating? You fucking lying piece of subhuman garbage. Like, we gotta deal with these people, bro, legally. I don't mean like vigilantism. I mean legally. They need to have some serious repercussions for lying so blatantly, okay? I am for the freedom of the press, but there's a caveat to that, okay? Freedom of the press is necessary for a free society. You know what else is necessary for a free society? A press that doesn't fucking lie.
She was indoctrinated into thinking that you're allowed to drive your car at cops or disobey police orders or block traffic and create a dangerous situation. This is an important message to all the leftists out there who want to do this. You cannot drive your SUV into a police officer. If you do that, you will be shot in the face and deserve it. And it will be very, very
She
sad.
did.
All right, Kyle, back to you.
I love that we're now doing character assassination of a 37-year-old soccer mom who got shot in the face 3 times. You're fucking disgusting for doing that.
Where was the character assassination? She literally did drive at the car. I just fucking showed it. Or at the cop. Not the car. She drove the car at the cop. Okay, I'm getting heated. Like, I'm getting heated. Because this is important, guys. This shit is like actually important. And you've got this blonde hair, fake ass fraud just lying through his fucking teeth about it, dude. It's disgusting, bro. And some people are dumb enough that they just accept his fucking word. They won't check the video, they won't check the slow motion, they won't check the obvious fucking spin out of the wheels while she's pointed directly fucking at him. They're just gonna ignore all of that and be like, well, I don't like the politics of that guy, so fuck him, right? Like, it's fucking disgusting, man.
Disgusting for doing that. And if you watch the video
Tribalist is what's destroying our fucking societies, bro.
To grab his gun before he was in any
And we need to
danger
start dealing with them legally.
Okay, so this guy, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting himself into.
He's clearly
People are
lying.
looking for trouble.
There should be
They're going to
repercussions for
Capitals.
lying.
They are cracking skulls. They are rounding up innocent people. They absolutely are Trump's Gestapo, and everybody knows it.
All right, let me bring in Dave Smith. Dave Smith,
What a
what's your view of
retard,
this?
bro. This guy's so stupid.
Well, I gotta
Oh
say,
my god.
as much
I
as
can
I
understand why he didn't know what farmland looks like. Like, I do like it. The tweet makes way more sense now, right? Like the fucking tweet where he's like, I don't know why this looks like this. Or here he is, fucking retard. Kyle Kalinske. Lands by the Colorado-Kansas border, right? I don't know why it looks like that, guys. Fucking retard, bro. It's called farmland, right? It's how you stay alive. At your most basic level. Imbecile. That's the guy people listen to? Holy fucking shit. Our societies are fucked, bro. We're done. We're done. Pack it up, pack it in.
Completely agreed with Coleman.
It's over.
On that. I'm just kidding. I don't mind agreeing with Coleman. No, but I thought that was a very thoughtful take, and I think I agreed with all of that. I mean, look, like
it pisses me off.
This is a really tragic thing.
Clearly, that's why I'm yelling.
I also don't think she was trying to run over the officer. It seemed to me that she was trying to peel out of there, and he got.
But she didn't care if she hit the officer because her fucking wheels were pointed directly at him when she accelerated and spun out on the goddamn ice.
spooked and he shot her. And look, however you feel about this morally, the fact is that in the United States of America and just about every other government, if law enforcement has you there and telling you, you just can't peel out. I mean, it's just a really unwise move.
Fucking
to try to
duh.
drive your car away. And again, you can feel about that however you want to, much like the Iranians shooting rioters who they think are going to topple the government. Like any government's going to shoot rioters that are trying to topple that government, including ours. And however you feel about it, that's the way states work. I do think there's like a broader thing that I would really think that Trump supporters, right-wingers in this country might want to think about. And I say this as someone who's
Stop running away, let me roast you.
immigration restrictionist. I mean, to me, that I don't think everyone in the world has a right to enter the United States of America. I think that the American people have a right to take in whoever we want or whoever we don't want, in the same way that I have a right to, you know, have whoever I want at my house for any reason that I choose to. And so anybody
Leave
who's here
Britney
illegally, I
alone.
think we have a right to remove them. But I do think you got to start to ask some real questions about what type of juice we're getting for this type of squeeze, and real questions of what we're doing to our own neighborhoods here. I mean, you really do have a situation, as Coleman kind of outlined, where like masked federal agents are kind of acting like thugs, pulling out guns in suburban neighborhoods in front of, and for all of this, for this big show of force that is such a such a provocation of the radical left in this country and getting them out on the streets. You know, I've seen the Trump administration says 10 million illegals came in under Joe Biden. I've seen estimates that are north of 30 million illegals totally in the country. And for all of this...
Oh, we can't do our job. The radical left might be violent. Is that this guy's argument right now? Why do people think this is a smart dude? I honestly don't know, right? Like... I know somebody who's like, oh, you should watch Dave Smith. He's like really, I like him. And then I watched him and I was like, you like this guy? Why? I still haven't figured it out. Oh, we can't enforce our own borders and we can't enforce our own immigration because the left might get violent. He just fucking said that. Bitch, are you for real? Fuck is his name again? What is his name? He's like, oh, Dolomite. Where is Dolomite? Bro, where's the actual video? This is bullshit. Maybe it's Are You For Real because YouTube is a bunch of pansies. This one's good too, but it's not the same one. Oh, dude, where's the bitch? Are you for real? This sucks. Bitch, are you for real? Dolomite's the shit, dude. They're terrible fucking movies, but they're absolutely hilarious because they're terrible. Rudy Ray Moore, that was the name. Did they fucking delete the goddamn video? I used a... I know it existed because I had the clip of it because I used it for my soundboard back in the day. That PC is dead though, so I don't have that no more. Oh, that sucks. Alright, let me find it.
This. We're talking about getting like a couple 100,000 of them. So in other words, we're not even making a dent on the real problem, and yet we are...
Google find it immediately. YouTube is such useless.
Where...
I inputted the exact same fucking... Bitch, are you for real? And it was the top result on Google. But on YouTube, like I scrolled down 3 pages, nothing. You gotta fix your algorithm, YouTube. It's broken. Your search is garbage.
Bitch, are you for real?
There we go. I needed that.
More incidents like this are more and more likely. And I gotta say, and I appreciate even that Michael said, like, there's a tragic thing. But I'm sure he saw it too. Some of, like, the ghoulish response from so many right-wingers, like on Twitter and stuff, celebrating.
And you know what? It reminded me. And you know what,
terrible.
Dave? It reminded me of the reaction from the left to Charlie Kirk's murder.
Yeah,
right? There was just a complete. There was not just
it's a different situation.
Not just an absence
but there
of.
is...
Well, I would say different things, but not just an absence of basic empathy and humanity, but a willful, gleeful celebration of somebody's death, right? And in both cases, I don't think either person deserved to die. Is just my gut feeling about it. So at the very least, even if you do think she brought
Charlie was talking, the lady was driving a car through officers. It's a bit of a different situation, Pierce. Only a little bit. What a fucking false equivalence, Jesus Christ. That being said, I don't celebrate it, and I don't think anyone should celebrate it. It's a fucking tragedy, regardless of what happens. Because, like, many fucking lives are ruined over that, right? And I'm not talking about hers. I'm talking about all of the fallout around hers, right? Because imagine how the fucking... the wife, if it is the wife, the girlfriend, what the fuck ever feels. Like, literally yelling, drive, baby, drive, drive. And then she gets shot. And then she yells, I killed her. Yeah, you did. You kind of did. Her kids. Because she only has... well, she has more than one, apparently. But she wasn't allowed to for the other two. But that's still... even they're gonna have some fucking, like, emotional fallout off of that. Like, many lives have been destroyed. So, celebrating it is just disgusting. I would say it's as disgusting as Charlie Kirk, but I wouldn't draw the exact relevance, because that's just asinine as fuck.
The situation on herself, and I certainly don't think she was blameless in her decision-making leading up to what happened, to the confrontation. But even if you believe that, to then sort of gleefully celebrate, she had it coming, she deserved it, blah, blah, but she's a mother of a young kid, and she, you know, is not even 40 years old. So what have we become as a society when your first thought is not, this is a tragedy, but whatever you think of what happened here, it's a tragedy. And she ends up dead, I think.
And he hasn't been arrested yet.
That I agree with.
And Jonathan Ross hasn't been arrested yet.
Please, bro. Shut the fuck up, dude. Oh my god. He immediately has to ruin it, right? Like, immediately.
Coleman was right about that too. He's not... listen, he's not going to jail. I mean, this is just...
he's not.
I'm sorry, and look, the legal system
there might not even be a trial, Dave.
There shouldn't be.
Well, look, but
he didn't do anything wrong.
Well, look, but as Coleman pointed out, and I mean, I would say it's slightly different, but the legal system is totally rigged on behalf of cops, and it's just not the same type of standard for federal law enforcement or for local law enforcement that it is for regular people. And when legally speaking, once
but we have seen some cops go to prison too, though.
Okay. Yeah. But
you know the difference. You know, there's a cult.
Legally speaking,
you know what there is,
if there's a car coming
but
at
Dave,
a cop,
there is a cultural aspect to this. And I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna go back into all this again. But if this situation had happened in my country, I'm in London right now. If it had happened in central London,
they'd be alive.
Well, it's almost unthinkable this kind of situation would happen, because we just don't obviously have the gun culture. And I've always said the problem with the police shootings in America or law enforcement shootings is that they have an understandable presumption, law enforcement, that pretty much everyone may be packing a gun. In countries like mine, where nobody really has a gun, the police don't have that presumption, so they don't shoot. Right? It's a kind of chicken and the egg thing. And, you know, it's as I learned when I took on this issue, Americans don't want to hear it from an English accent. You got rid of it with guns.
Pierce,
I get it.
Next
year is the 250th anniversary, where you will all celebrate getting rid of us of guns. I get it, but I do think that what the rest of the world perceives as a trigger-happy gun country is actually because there are 400 million guns in circulation. 1 million new guns get sold every month. So the law enforcement always have a fear, a rational fear, actually, that everyone they stop in any kind of confrontation may have a gun. And that simply doesn't exist in most other countries.
If your cops were worried that people might have a gun, maybe they wouldn't be showing up and arresting so many people for tweets and putting them in jail.
I totally agree. It was revealed yesterday 12,000 people have been arrested for social media posts. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. But you know what? I'd rather that than young mothers getting shot dead for doing a right-hand turn.
I don't think I agree. I'm gonna be honest.
ICE officers shouting at her.
I can't agree
she
with
did
that.
a left-hand turn first.
And there was a former cop who was arrested.
But before we end this, I just want to end. Dave, you've had this big ding-dong with Dan Bongino, who's now left the FBI. You said that his legacy is covering for paedophiles. This alludes to the Epstein scandal. He responded by a lot of personal attacks on you. But as we've been talking, Bill and Hillary Clinton have defied a congressional subpoena to appear before the House Oversight Committee about Epstein. How significant is that, do you think?
Well, it certainly doesn't look good for them, but I mean, you know, if former presidents are ever held accountable for anything, aside from Donald Trump on the ridiculous trumped-up charges, but like, if we're actually holding politicians accountable for the crimes that they've committed in the past, well, that'll be the first time that I've ever seen it. So I don't know what Congress is going to do next. My guess is that they'll probably just do nothing, because that's what Congress typically ends up doing in these situations. But yeah, Dan Bongino, listen, I don't know what to say. Dan Bongino is in this like impossible situation here, which is why he like spazzed out and started talking about my kids and my family and stuff. And look, I know I did say that his legacy will forever be protecting pedophiles, but again, it's a matter of record. That is just true. And so, look, Dan Bongino's got a real problem. You were either lying then or you're lying now. And you gotta somehow, if you're gonna come back to this world of doing these shows on the internet, you're gonna have to explain that to people at some point. Like, you made this one claim, got in there, turned around, and gave a hostage video where you said none of that exists at all, and now the stuff's been declassified. So he said he read through the entire files, and he knows for a fact that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. But we just found out there's like 5 million documents in the entire file. So like, what exactly is he claiming that he read? And what did he
assume
see?
it
It's all declassified now. Yes, sure. But I'm just saying it's all declassified now.
But also,
so now
the bottom line,
he can explain what he saw.
Yeah, and the bottom line is people on the MAGA side and the Trump administration, they can all say whatever they want. The truth is, they took us all up the hill of full and total transparency should they win the last election. And then suddenly, earlier this in 2025, suddenly the shutters came down. Nothing was going to get revealed, and now bit by torturous bit, it's all coming out, and it's very devastating, and it's causing a lot of carnage with people's jobs and livelihoods, and quite rightly. But we are still well away.
Coming out.
But we're still well away from full accountability or transparency. Yeah. They could just release them.
They've only released 1%.
They could release it all tomorrow.
1% of the Epstein files.
I don't know why they haven't released them. All I know is when people in officialdom don't release documents, it's because they don't want people to see them. And that's just a logical presumption, whether they're on the left or the right. I'm going to leave it there. Great panel. I always think the mark of a great panel is when you get to the end of the hour and you feel like you've learned stuff. And the great thing about you guys is I learned a lot in that hour. Didn't necessarily agree with all your opinions, but I learned a lot of stuff, and I appreciate that. So
I learned Cal Kalinske is really dumb, but I already knew that, so I guess I didn't learn that. It just confirmed once again.
Man in Minneapolis is being confronted and labeled a Nazi over alleged support for ICE before being assaulted and knocked out. Someone in the crowd shouts, "He's one of us," appearing to realize they attacked one of their own.
Purity testing in the streets, but we're the fascists.
You remember what I said? They don't hate the police, they want to be the police. I tried to tell everybody, but people didn't want to listen. Well, now you're seeing it.
Okay, get up. Get your ass up. You good? That's all they asked. He's one of us. Okay. He's one of us. Okay.
That's hilarious.
How are they letting this shit go on? Really, how are they letting this shit go on? This is insane. These are Nazi tactics 101.
Yeah, of
People
course.
People are gonna get shot doing this? They are.
They should get shot.
He's one of us. Oh my god.
In a just world, that guy would have been shot.
You alright, dude?
We don't live in that world, though. Give me 5 minutes.
That's still recharging.
Okay.
He's one of us. How do we know?
How do we, dude? Is this? It's crazy. This is even real, right? Oh my God.
Why you get ran out earlier? I don't know. He's one of us.
Go battle. What am I doing?
They're just having roving gangs running around harassing and beating people up because these people look like they might support ICE. Every single one of these people should be locked up and put in a camp. Every single one of them. There is no place in a civilized Western society for these animals. And the sooner that we realize that, and that we're willing to act on it, the sooner that this can be over. Every single one of them. You gotta put them in the box.
Isn't it ironic? The guys helping him are the enemies from these people, supposedly, and including the guy that was beaten. That's crazy, dude. Wow. But ICE are the fascists. Gotcha. Not the guy spirited testing in the streets, randomly attacking someone they think is ICE, and then it turns out, oh, that's one of us, guy. What are you doing? Like, you're fucking... Bro, you can't make this shit up, dude.
Back up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, save your Nazi. Put him in your Nazi van. Go get him some help. He needs a little bit of fucking mental health there. Don't.
Wait, save. I thought this guy was on their side. So they helped this guy, and now he's a Nazi because he's being helped by them.
Yeah, that's how spirited testing works, bro. Like, if you don't think these are the bad guys, then you have no fucking. You don't live in the real world, dude. You live in like La La Land. It must be nice where you live, but please, can we keep it to the real world so we can make things better, right? Crazy.
Oh my God, the Nazi van. These extremists will start creating a dress code? Yeah, of course they will. I mean, all you have to do is look at whatever a fascist government does, and that's what these people will do. That's what they're gonna do. This is what happens every time. They're fucking crazy. Well, in my opinion, like, again,
you're malicious.
Like, I have what I would do in this situation, what I think the government should do. I think they should just bring in the military, find every single one of the people that did this, build a, temporary camp like Alligator Alcatraz, and then pack them into that camp like sardines, and then basically send every single one of them through federal charges, put them in federal prisons, and then force them into mandatory labor for 5 to 10 or more years. That's what I would do. That would be my solution for this problem. And guess what would happen?
I can't guess that yet.
All of these problems would disappear. They would. They would totally disappear. So here we go. Here's a new one here.
It's a little extreme.
Tech workers say they were mistaken for ICE agents accosted by the anti-ICE mob.
This is so cool. I mean, so cool as it like
Look.
It's gotta be the funniest thing I've ever seen. I know, it's like, you feel like a zoo. I've never...
Safe travel.
If you're not with us, then you're against us. I wonder who the fascists are in this particular example, right? It's so, oh my god, I can't figure it out, guys. I'm so stupid. I have no idea who the fascists are in this example. Oh my god, these people are unreal, dude.
You're not
Stick
with
him in a
us and
box.
you're against us.
Holy fucking shit.
This is actually insane that they're letting this go on.
They want it
They're
to go on
actually
because
letting
otherwise,
this, this is
the news
crazy.
is, oh, Team Walls, massive fraud, and now it's all ICE, right? Team Walls loves this.
What?
No.
We do custom apps for a whole bunch of companies around Minnesota and the country.
It's scary. It is scary. These people will kill you if they could. They'll kill you.
100%.
This is very important to keep in mind, is that What they're doing is what they're allowed to do. To the extent that they could get away with it, they'll kill you. That's why you have to shut them down. You have to shut them down, totally break them up, put them in prison, and get rid of this.
Yeah, Trump is doing nothing, by the way.
Civilized society
Weak as fuck.
with people like this going around. You just can't. There's no way to do that. No doubt they'll absolutely kill you. Yeah, that's and then they'll do it to your family. They'll harass your family. They think Americans are terrorists. Well, they are the terrorists. So yeah. Yeah, no, they're unironic terrorists. Are they letting it get so bad it's difficult to criticize the decision to crack down? No, see, that's a huge mistake. The more power that you let these people have before you crack down on them, the more emboldened that they will feel to do it again. You have to immediately nip it in the bud.
Do I look like an ICE agent?
Media did this?
Holy.
You look like an ICE agent, so they're going after this guy
Meanwhile,
because
most of
he
the ICE
looks like
agents
an
I've
ICE
seen
agent.
have been minorities.
Of all
Weird
the
how that
videos you
works.
watched, I've yet to see one black person. Literally, all this does are white people and mostly Karens. I know that. This is why Second Amendment's so important. Well, eventually somebody will start shooting these people. They will. This is what's going to eventually, inevitably happen. And whenever that happens, then things are going to get a lot worse.
Fucking Christ. This is what's wrong with the guy's car.
No, it's not. Because you have no relationship with that. You wait, so do you support
So now it's not enough that he's not in ICE. Now,
Yeah.
they're
But do you
asking him
support
if
it
he
though?
even
This is complete purity testing. This is literally what the fucking 1930s Germany looked like, 100%. And they're just letting it happen in the fucking United States of America. Holy fucking shit, dude! Round these people up, bro. Like now, before it's too late. We've had examples of this already, and we know how this is gonna turn out. Okay, you stop this now.
Supports ICE. So now you literally have the thought police that are going around
42,
Minnesota
yay, I can spend
that
more money.
are basically
Yay.
racially and, you know, different ways of profiling people and then attacking them based off of that. Isn't this insane? It's literally happening right now. They're going out there doing this by themselves. They don't hate Nazis. They want to be the Nazis. It's ironic. It's not ironic. Like, the thing is that this was obvious it was going to happen to anybody with a brain. Like, this is what people have been doing. They've been doing this for thousands of years. This isn't new. Like, Nazis didn't invent profiling people and killing them. The Nazis are just the most well-known example based off of, like, modern education in America. They've been doing this forever. People have been doing this forever. It's nothing special with the Nazis. Minnesota's a concealed carry state? Well, I don't know. If they're actual Nazis, these people would be dead immediately? Of course.
What? Wait, you guys are acting? Fuck no.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The way you guys are, I don't support ICE either.
Then why do you care?
Then why do you care when we're harassing you if you're on our side?
I'm just trying to enjoy my lunch.
If you're not with us, then you're against
Yeah,
us.
Absolutely insane. Anti-ICE.
You gotta deal with these
insurgents are not
people
just stalking
now.
ICE. Mobs of agitators are following conservatives into parking garages and attacking them. Police refuse to get involved. It's gnarly. Yep. Yep. These people have jobs? I don't know. Yep.
This guy needs medical help. He needs
Oh my God.
mental health.
Holy shit.
It's natural from Nazis' ears.
Bleeding is natural for Nazis' ears. And this is just a random guy. It's just a random guy. They're tearing this dude up. Look at this. This is in America.
I'm super surprised there hasn't been like a giant
Oh my
shooting
God.
yet.
Yep, cops are doing nothing. They're letting all of this happen.
I'm out of range.
You gotta stick
Why are
Tim
liberals
Walz
allowed to commit violence?
in jail, and you gotta stick like a bunch of the police chiefs in jail. Probably Jacob Frey as well, because they're letting this happen. They're cheering for this to happen. This is in no way, shape, or form should these people be able to get away with this.
It's without outrage or consequence, specifically for their jobs. The reason why it happens is because conservatives have this mindset that, and this is a mindset that needs to be destroyed. But, and I've said this before, they have a mindset that we can't come down hard on these people, because if we do, then these people will come down hard on us. Meanwhile, their own people or other random people are being terrorized and attacked in the streets. So that's the mindset that they have, is that they believe, like a lot of conservatives have this naive notion of matching force. So they think that if they do something that is extreme, then the other side will do something that's extreme. That's not how it works. What happens is that the other side will do whatever they can that they can get away with, and whatever, it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to do the same thing anyway. They're too soft.
Where's my rare scanner?
They're
Pop
way
up?
too soft.
Oh, there it is.
Come down hard, never let them get back up. Oh, I agree with this, right? Isn't that why they why they would say
level
just shoot
question
them?
marks.
Well, I don't know about
Never
just
mind.
shooting them. I have no idea. Liberals here are actually insane. They have no problem with
Never
violence.
mind.
Of course they don't. It's pretty obvious.
Dude's 50. Yeah.
Can't the people pass a class action
It's
lawsuit
not.
against the city for allowing this to happen? Well, I don't know. Soft as fuck. It's embarrassing. Well, the problem is that a lot of conservatives are not willing to take extreme, brutal solutions in order to solve these problems. And this is the main issue, is that when you are in a conflict between a group of people that are willing to take extreme, brutal solutions to solve problems versus a group that isn't, the group that is willing to do that will always be the group that wins. You've got to remember that George Washington sailed across a river in the ice on Christmas Eve, and he killed the British in their sleep. And that's why we're Americans. Is that it's a race to the bottom in terms of conflict, and the way that you have to handle these people is you do have to approach it from that level of extreme. You do. And if you don't do that, they will do that to you. And I think that you see this. The same thing happened in 1931-32. Hitler sent the brown shirts and gained a lot of support. Well, and that's the other thing, is that the next step for this is something that people might not know is going to happen. If Trump did send in the military and things continued getting worse and this was more publicized, he would get support if these people were effectively just totally removed. If he rounded up all of these people and he just basically brutalized them, a vast amount of people in the country would support it and welcome it. People don't understand, like, there's a allure of power that if a person will execute and basically execute absolute power, they will gain a tremendous amount of respect, because people would rather be ruled over by power than be ruled over by chaos. And that's what they will want every single time. Democrats are looking for every excuse. Well, they're going to do that anyway. I mean, like, whatever those people are going to do, they're going to do that no matter what. There's nothing you can do to stop them from doing that. At this point, yeah. Are you dumb? No, I'm not dumb. This is the truth. I think you're wrong. Okay. All right. You can think I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, close your eyes, open up a history book, and then pick a random page. Open your eyes, read the book. You'll find out that I'm not wrong. I'm not. This is human
sorry,
psychology.
Sorry.
The better alternative. So what they should do in order to prevent anything bad from happening is they should just nationalize well, they should probably tell Tim Walz, like, hey man, listen, like, you've got to
go to jail.
under control, like, right now, or you're going to go to jail, right? Like, we're going to invoke Insurrection Act. You're getting pulled up on sedition and treason. Either get this under control right now, or your head's on a chopping block, right? That's what I would do. If I was Trump, I'd just call him up and say that. And he would say, oh, well, you can't get me. It doesn't matter. Like, you're going to be through appeals. At the end of the day, you can ruin this guy's life for 3 years. You can totally ruin his life, and there's nothing they can do about it. So threaten that, then he will send in the police. He will have the National Guard deal with this. And if he doesn't do that, then nationalize the National Guard, bring in the army.
Is it gonna take me forever?
Invoke the Insurrection Act and clear the streets out of these people, right? That's what you have to do. And if he doesn't, if you did that, there will be no violence. Because people aren't going to be violent with police officers, you know, with tactical armor on and fucking machine guns around. They're not going to do that. Tim Walz should be more scared of the Somalis than the president? Well, I don't know about that. You don't think the Democrats have more dirt on Tim Walz? You're funny? Well, I don't know if they do or not, right? But my point is that if you put somebody in a position where basically there is like a heavy consequence for not doing something, then you can get that person to act. But you have to introduce a consequence. You openly admitted you never do research or read articles outside of Twitter. How can you shamelessly tell others to read more? I don't need to understand whatever article you want me to read. All I need to understand is human psychology and incentives. And incentives and human psychology are the deciding factors of how people will behave. I don't need to read your little special book or your Wikipedia article or anything else besides that. None of that stuff matters. What matters fundamentally is how do people act, how do people think, and how do people respond to incentives. If you can understand that, then nothing else matters. It's pretty simple.
Come home to live! You said off with their head, right? Stop recording!
This is going real fast.
Stop! I gotta get off the wall! Don't worry, who's on the wall? Get off the wall! Get off the wall!
Uh-oh. What the fuck? Where are the police? The police are told to stand down.
Where are you going? You don't come to Minneapolis anymore.
Yeah, not the Trump.
Take that shit off.
Yep. Look at him go. Look at him go. They're running this guy. Look at how many people there are just after like a handful of guys. Maybe like one or two guys. They were telling the people to get off live so they could kill him? Yeah, because they don't want to have it be recorded. So the police shouldn't take orders from the governor? That's such bullshit. Well, it will eventually probably get that. It will get to this extreme. And this, by the way, this escalation is one of the reasons why I didn't want to vote for Trump. Is that I don't think that he really has what it takes in order to solve these problems in a comprehensive way. I think that he's really funny, he's entertaining, he can be charismatic, but like he doesn't really solve these problems in the way that I think he needs to. Taco? Yeah, he does. He does taco. Kamala will solve the problem? Yeah. He's not aggressive enough? No, he's not. What, are they gonna throw him off? Should qualify as self-defense? Oh, yeah. Look how many of them there are, too. This is wild. Look at him go.
You fucking showed up. That's where you fucked up. Oh, now you're gonna run.
What? You didn't get the supporters you wanted? You realize that we're more of us than you?
Keep it up. Not for long.
If they could, they'd kill him.
They will, yeah.
This is
100%.
a peaceful protest. That's right. So you stop accelerating and finally vote once there's a strong enough candidate that will stop this shit? Yeah. Once I think that there's a candidate that will deal with this in the right way, then I would vote for them. But I don't vote for a lesser of two evils. I don't do that. Unless I feel like somebody will actually encompass my views and my values, I don't vote for them. Yeah, I don't do lesser of two evils bullshit. Nope.
You fuck with them, you fuck with us. You don't come to our town to fuck with them. Fucking bitch.
Is killing people peaceful? No, I'm not gonna back off. Please. I'm not gonna back up to y'all.
Weren't you saying that you were an accelerationist the other day? Weren't you saying to let it happen and burn it down? Well, yeah, but eventually, like, I know, but like it's already being burned down. Like at this point, right? What I'm saying is that the accelerationism stops when a candidate appears that is willing to stop the problems. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is that at that point you can stop because now you have a solution in hand.
Get the fuck out of our town.
It's not practical? Well, it depends. Uh-oh. Nope.
Stay on the inside.
Total crash out. Total crash out.
Oh, that was the bullshit. Shit, I didn't realize. I thought that was the fucking.
Around, they've changed demographics enough where it's too late and there's no chance. Well, that's why it's even more important to do it. And also, just because you're outnumbered doesn't mean that you're automatically going to lose. That's not true. I mean, you can look at any sort of conflict in history and you'll find out that's not true.
Oh, this is the car?
Was it wrong? That's true. Okay, all right, here we go. He's going to get in the car. Okay. Oh. Look at him go, just following this guy around.
Should have gunned it, dude.
Jesus. Jesus, bro, what a bunch of savages. Oh my God. I think I saw this one, right?
That's him!
No, it's another one.
That's him! Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door!
Look, there's...
Oh my God. Drive! Oh my God. Drive! Just drive! Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go! Hey, pull over!
Man.
Pull over!
Look at him go.
Leave it.
Look at him go.
Get out of here! Leave it up! No! Y'all just
Yep.
let him leave! It's not working! Hey!
Man.
Hey, let him out! Let him out!
Animals, bro. You gotta treat these people like the animals they purport themselves to be. It's that simple.
Fucking psychos, man. Can you believe that?
Until then, this ain't gonna stop.
A group of Somali thugs just robbed me of a $1,000 camera in Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis.
Bro, I need one more.
Uh-oh.
You fucks.
Hey! Hey, get... What did she just do? She fucking...
Oh shit. Okay, it's okay.
She took next camera.
Yep.
She just stole next camera.
What the fuck? It's absolute chaos. They turned Minneapolis into a PvP server. They completely did. Where's Trump? How are you letting people do this? Really? Like, you're driving down the side. Like, this is like Grand Theft Auto. Oh my God.
No, get in the camera!
Just tell her to give him the camera back.
Jesus. They're not even hiding it? Well, why would they? They get away with it. Why would they have to hide it?
They just stole my camera.
Right out of your hand while you're in the car?
Yep.
You want it, right? That's the fuck you want it, right? That's what you did. Man, listen, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here.
Wow. The 13% is representing themselves very well again.
You fucking coward. Motherfucker, you a coward, bitch.
You have to leave.
You a fucking coward. You robbed you, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here. Bitch. You fucking coward.
Oh, too bad.
Nobody
Motherfucker, you trying to incite that shit?
Nobody stepped in.
Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
$1,000.
Man.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Did you call 9? Did anybody call 911?
Have Kevin do it.
There's a lot of
He's
education in that shot. My God.
We got it all on video.
We're not Nazis.
Yeah, you fucking nasty.
We're not Nazis and we're not racist. I condemn Hitler completely. I'm not racist. I condemn all racism. I condemn
Trying to
all
argue
racism.
with this. Can we all agree Trump's a pussy for this? He is.
Yes.
He's a total
100%.
massive pussy.
Yeah.
Like, I am so mad that he doesn't do anything about this. It's so embarrassing.
Neighborhood. Why are you here?
We were driving through and we got followed. You guys followed us.
No, we're following you because who are you?
It doesn't matter. We're allowed to be here. It's a United
No, we're
States
not
of
following
America.
you. We're following you because who are you? What the fuck, bitch? Like a lot of education in this fucking scene, bro.
We're not leaving till we get the camera. You want us to leave? Give us the camera. Call your friend. Get the camera back.
Look at this. This is insane. No point arguing with these people? No, there's no reason. They want to be victims so bad. I know. Look at all them saying they deserved it. I know. I tried to tell you guys. You can't reason with these people. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you're treating him like this. Why? Why?
Trump can't do anything right now. It has to become very violent before the actions are justified. Well, if the military's listening to Trump and he's able to do it, then he can do it. It's that simple. It being justified according to CNN, CNN's never going to say that it's justified. Some activist judge is never going to say that it's justified.
Ow!
At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is whether you have the power to do something or you don't. That's it. Can he do it? I don't know. Will the people with guns listen to him? If the answer is yes, then he can do it. It's that simple. They call him Nazi and put even more fingers on him. It's just really sad. How many more fingers can they put on him and call him a Nazi? They've already done this 1,000 times. It's not like it's going to matter the next time. The problem is you lose support from all the pussy Republicans who like to toe the line. Well, I mean, again, like those people would never support him anyway. And I think it's good to I think it's good to filter those people out. What's embarrassing is you thinking you know how to handle it better than Trump and his 1,000 lawyers. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that really, like, you're worried about the law. I'm not worried about the law. Who cares about the law? Like, they will invent a new law to arrest Trump under if they get power again. It doesn't matter. You're under the false impression that the rules that exist matter. They don't matter. They will ignore the rules. They'll make up new rules. They will come up with other examples of why it's okay that they do it this way. This is a mistake. You have fallen into the mistake of trying to think that your opponent is playing by the same rules as you are. Your opponents are not doing that. I agree with you 99% of the time, but this part always confuses me. I mean, didn't they charge Trump with 34 felonies of the same thing? Try and put him in jail for like years and years and years over just like a fucking, like an accounting mistake? Or like, even if it wasn't a mistake, like this is like basically a very small amount of money. They're trying to put him in jail for this. Like, I mean, an accounting error, yeah, it's like nothing. So keep in mind, that's what they tried to do. Of course that's what they're going to do. They will do anything that they can. And this idea that like, oh, you can't do this. This is what the rules say. Who cares what the rules say? If the rules have brought you to a place that is completely chaotic, if it's totally destruction, if there's total destruction, there's people that are out there on the streets finding random gangs roving around, attacking people because they think this person could be on the opposite side as them. If the rules have brought you to this position, then what purpose were the rules even serving? Why do you even have the rules? Very clearly, the rules aren't helping. So why follow them? Absolutely not. You should do whatever you need to do to get this done. Feels like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's not damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's you either solve the problem or you don't. And you ignore the people that are complaining about it. It doesn't matter. They literally charged Trump's misdemeanor offense into 34 felony counts? Yeah, of course. Like, I mean, again, they're not playing by the same rules that you're playing for. So the ends justify the means? Of course. Duh. What do you think? Why do you think we nuked Japan?
Racism can go both ways.
You've been talking about 2 hours fucking recording.
You guys were...
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, what are we talking about? People have such a naive view of things, it's embarrassing. And this is the guy that's talking about it. Watch this. Are there really 20 people filming themselves harassing other people for half an hour with no consequences? That's right. Yep. That's what's going on right now. That's it.
Anarchists, and I'm calling them anarchists now. These anarchists, these rioters,
Sorry about the
these
audio.
Bad people that wish to harm law enforcement are now harming American
My left
citizens.
ear feels
Those
left
vehicles
out.
you mentioned that were vandalized.
No pun
they've
intended.
Also, we've received reports vandalized indiscriminately many vehicles in those hotel parking lots.
Yeah, I bet they have.
If it's government vehicles and then they happen to get several vehicles of American citizens, innocent civilians, they don't care. And we're seeing that now. We're hearing reports from the police that that's happening, throwing nails out in parking lots where our government vehicles...
Throwing nails in parking lots. This could literally get somebody killed. Oh my God. Throwing nails in parking lots.
Vehicles are not even located. They don't care. So these anarchists truly do not...
Free nails?
They
yeah.
truly do not... go towards federal law enforcement only. If you get wrapped up in this, and you're mom and pop American, you get wrapped up, and they even think you're law enforcement, then you're getting it also, and that's
right. Yep, they're doing it to everybody.
Big problem. I think that should probably wake some people up as to the depth and the scope of these anarchists.
Let's see if I can find some more of these here too, but yeah, it's just insane.
That we would react with riots, and we have shown up with compassion, with care, with real resilience, with understanding of our constitutional rights and, you know, what the rights and the wrongs are. And we've shown the country what real resistance looks like. They...
Right, of course.
Jail.
This is what they say. They
Straight
say
away.
this, and then... Oh, here we go.
Get out of our state! Get out of our state! Get out of here, bitch! Get out of our state!
Dumb bitch.
Damn. Shouldn't have done it. See, that's how they need to handle it. That is, spitting's actually assault. Yeah, it's old as fuck. Well, either way, I mean, like, this is how I think they should handle it right there. Just grab the guy, immediately arrest him, and that's it. Now, what did he do? The tackle seems very excessive. I don't see what he did. You shouldn't spit on somebody. If you spit on a federal officer and they grab you and tackle you to the ground, I think that's totally justified. I do. I don't think that anybody should expect to be spit on like that. It's
who knows what kind of
animal
diseases that
behavior,
filth
and
has,
really,
bro?
If you
Come
act
on.
like an animal, you should be treated like an animal.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it. I don't care
Fully
if it's
agreed.
disproportionate. I don't really care.
You
if
wanna
they get
act like a
hurt.
wild
They
animal,
should
you're
think
gonna
about
get treated
that
like
before
one.
they decide to put themselves in that situation. It's that simple. Oh, here we go. People are beeping their horns and surrounding whistles at this man who rented a vehicle with Texas plates. All he wanted to do was get food.
You hear all the beeping? It's for me. Why? This right here.
Texas plates.
Texas plates.
Wow.
When you're in Minnesota with Texas plates,
What is
everybody
going
thinks
on?
you're ice.
Remember what I told you? I told you every single day that they let this happen, it will get worse. Remember? Every single day they let this happen, it will get worse and worse and worse.
I'm just trying to get some food.
People
This is what I got to deal with.
Of course they are. Yep. Are you Americans become completely retarded? You're supposed to be a first world country? I know. I know. But this is what happens when you let the inmates run the asylum. This is exactly what it is. Let me see if I can pull up a couple more of these.
They thought that, you know, they could intimidate Minnesotans, that we would react with riots, burn down
This
our
bitch
city,
can't even
and
speak
then we
proper
would have the
English, dude.
license,
I see a congresswoman.
to invoke the Insurrection Act, mobilize the military against, U.S. citizens, and we have shown up with compassion, with care, with real resilience, with understanding of our constitutional rights, and what the rights and the wrongs are. And we've shown the country what real resistance looks like. And he knows that ICE is losing ground.
Didn't you marry your brother?
Popularity in the unlawful
See, that's why they have to go after him. Because if people feel like they're losing ground, it will make the public sentiment shift, and it will make... Basically, if people feel like something is happening, it makes it happen. It's like a confirmation bias or self-fulfilling prophecy.
Actions that they are carrying out, and the American people are on our side because no one has signed up for American citizens to be brutalized in the way Minnesotans have been.
I don't think the brutalizing has even begun. That's what I think. If the government could hunt down and prosecute every single person who broke into the Capitol on January 6th, then why can't they do the same to every rioter and Somalian scammer in Minneapolis? These people have to be crushed or they will destroy us when they return to power. This is absolutely true. 100%. It is self-defense. Total self-defense. And if you don't take it seriously and you don't listen to these people in the right way, they're going to do it. Yeah, Nick's totally right about this. 100%. Hopefully more people will realize that. And you see here, 1,500 active duty Army paratroopers from the 11th Airborne Division have been put on alert for potential deployment to Minnesota. So they're actually maybe doing this. 2 Army battalions put on standby for possible deployment to Minnesota. There's another one right there. Oh my God. Perceived power is achieved power? Yep, exactly.
Y'all fuck with ICE though, right? No. Y'all fuck with ICE or nah? You fuck with ICE or nah? Fuck ICE, even right? Mean? That's right. Say it proud. Inventory is full. Say it proud. Say it proud, bro. Are you an American? Or is you a bitch?
Some retard that can barely speak English, purely testing people in the streets. Your nation's turning into a joke, man. You gotta get these people off the streets, bro. Right? It's an embarrassment.
Oh man, we're good, buddy. Do you like ICE or not, bitch? What'd you tell me? What'd you tell me, bitch? Do you like ICE or not?
Shoot. I can't say that. Deal with these people, man. They're acting like wild animals. Start treating them like such.
Another one for the box.
You've convinced me you're a wild animal. Congratulations. Now you get treated like one.
Yep. Such a simple solution.
Fucking bitch! You bootlegging bitch! Say you don't like ICE, say fuck ICE! Say it! Bitch! Fuck ICE! Fuck ICE! This guy can't even make his lips move! Cannot make his lips
Shut the fuck up, pussy.
What's up, bitch?
Fuck ICE. Is that all you need?
Let's go! That's it! Pussy bitch, crack off!
Of course, it's one of those guys.
They do. They harass, abuse, attack people until they get what they want.
I wasn't gonna say anything because we didn't see, but yeah, of course, it's
That's
a 13%er.
That's the same dude. Yep, I know. And I told, like, this is the thing, is like, I've been trying to warn people that there are a lot of individuals like that out there. And if you don't keep a lid on these people, they just totally boil over. And you have to
You gotta clean your streets up, boys.
And put them in some sort of institution, have them in
The
one
filth
way
is
or
just
another locked up.
taken
you
over.
Can't let a person
It's time
like
to
this
take out
be
the garbage.
in the public. You have to either institutionalize, medicate, or imprison them. You can't deal with these people in the public world. That's it. And get them help? Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do need help. Time to start fighting back. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's getting worse. Well, every single day that it's allowed to happen is a day that it will continue getting worse. That's it. Might be a cage and a chimpanzee in a zoo, but then around them, yeah, definitely. They'll never change laws to make that possible. Well, I mean, never say never. I mean, all we really need, this is the thing, all we really need is a candidate willing to do that. That's it. You need a candidate willing to do this, and then it happens. Because, and here's the other thing too, is that once you're able to do it, you only have to do it once. Because then you're going to change the demographics so much by getting rid of these people that the opposite side will never win an election again. Because you're going to put the majority of those fucking freaks in jail. So it doesn't matter. So all you have to do is do it once. That's all that has to happen. Yeah, just enforce the current laws. Yep, definitely. And so just what's a legal response to harassment like this? Well, you should just call the police, really. I mean, that's my best advice. You just call the police.
They won't show up though, because it's Minnesota.
You shouting in your face. Would you say justifying? What would you? Would you just say? Would just saying what they want be the correct thing to do? What would I do? I would just say fuck ICE and I'd make them leave me alone. I don't want to deal with people like this. I don't want to have to, you know, like listen to them attacking me or yelling at me. Like somebody like that escalates like that could stab you or something like that. And that's the reason why, well, yeah, coward. Well, I'm not a coward. I'm a survivor. A person like, see, you're not around these people regularly. I'm around these people regularly. I walk to the store and there's people that are just sitting there next to the gas station that are like fucking drug addicts and they're crazy. The best thing that you can do is to tell that person whatever they need to hear to make them leave you alone. Because this person could stab you, they could attack you, they could shoot you, they could do anything. I don't think that people understand the uncertainty of an insane person. I do.
It's literally wild animal. They're literally wild animals. Right? Look at the bear guy. The bear guy was just fine. Hanging out with bears, chilling, until one night the bear thought, you know, fuck this guy, and mauled the fuck out of him. It's a wild animal, bro. You cannot predict the behavior of a wild animal. You have to treat wild animals like they're wild animals.
Because I have to deal with them regularly because I live in Austin and I just go out and I see them. You never want to start a fight with a crazy person. You don't. It's very dangerous. Yeah, I don't advocate for any type of like vigilante justice or anything like that. It's extremely scary. You lose, you probably do lose. Yeah, why fight a freak when you have nothing to gain and everything to lose? Yes, exactly. So we do not escalate with pepper spray? Well, you could potentially get charged for assault or something like that. Now, if you want to do that, go ahead. But like, I would just try to tell them whatever they need to hear to make them go away. Like, I'm a very utilitarian, pragmatic person. I have no problem smiling in somebody's face and stabbing them in the back.
Oh, fuck.
That's what you should do. My goal is to simply get what I want in a position that is the most advantageous for me. It's not relevant to where I'm in the right. It's not relevant to where I am, you know, like it seems like I'm winning. I don't care about any of those things. The only thing that I care about is making sure that I'm able to get what I want out of a situation. And so everything that I do and all the ways that I act are in service of being able to serve that goal, is to consolidate and make things happen in a way that's beneficial for me. And if that means agreeing with my enemy or agreeing with somebody that's violent so I can, you know, avoid them and then, you know, maybe hurt them later, I would do that instantly without even a second of hesitation. And everybody else should do that too. There's almost never... It's almost never a good idea to engage a conflict directly. It's always better to get the drop on somebody, to backstab them, to catch them by surprise, or to do something that they're not expecting. It's almost never a good idea to directly engage somebody because that gives them the highest probability chance that they can react to you. And you don't want somebody to react to you because then that's going to lower your chances of getting what you want out of the situation.
Familiar tells me that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey are both being investigated by the Justice Department.
Oof.
And a grand jury has issued subpoenas for both of them, though it doesn't appear that either have been served yet. What we do know tonight as we come on the air is that the Justice Department investigation centers on possible obstruction of federal law enforcement. Both the FBI Director, Kash Patel, and the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, were in Minneapolis today. And just a short time ago, Todd Blanche was on Fox News explaining, or attempting to explain, why the Justice Department is taking this action.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens
then why not arrest him right now? If you think that he's actually doing this, why not send in the National Guard? Why not send in the military? Why not do it right now?
Maduro, that
Call
bitch.
911 when they see ICE officers.
Isn't that crazy?
That is very close to a federal crime.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Like, what is this, to build a case? Who cares? Who cares? What are you doing? Oh, you're gonna build a case? Jesus Christ, it's so pathetic. These people are totally captured by this stuff. And I don't even know what else to say. And then you see here, this is what Florida is doing, by the way. Florida handles this the right way. If you fuck with a Florida officer, you know what they do? They kill you. That's it. That's what happens. If you spit on an officer, or you throw a brick at an officer in Florida, you're dead. We don't see any of these problems happening in Florida, do we? No. Holy crap, Florida's not going to make an example out of this. So this retarded hog decided to punch a...
I didn't even have a chance to ban him.
A state
Too bad.
police officer in the face.
It's like, Cerebot is nice, but it's also not nice, because I don't get the pleasure of banning anybody anymore.
Look at her go.
You're gonna get arrested and you are gonna do serious time. This woman,
Look at this retarded hog, bro. They got to get her in the back seat.
She's looking at state and federal charges.
Oh, God.
We're gonna make an example here. If
Make an example out of her. Absolutely.
you want to get in the way of ICE's activities, you are going to pay the price. We want...
See, this is how easy it is to solve this problem. I want you to see that in Florida, this is how easy it is to solve. There you go.
Want them here. We believe in safety. We are going to enforce rule of law. You know, she was kicking and punching our highway patrol, our troopers. And our troopers have handled some big challenges in the past.
Man.
This one no different. They get the job done. They put bad people away.
Boing.
They sure do. And it's that easy. It's literally that simple. Want the referral government? Yeah, exactly. It's a big job. Yeah, and everybody says she looks so miserable. I bet she does. And you can see this immediately. She picked the wrong state in which to throw a haymaker at law enforcement. Yep, there you go. And you just put her in jail, like, pretty much indefinitely, right? I mean, hitting a federal officer like that. And this is also the National Guard. They're clearly moving them in. So things are going to get even more extreme, and it's getting crazy, honestly. It's getting absolutely fucking insane. So let her rot in a hole? Yeah, I mean, shouldn't have it happen. It's refreshing to see. Well, I just want you guys to see that the solution for this is so simple. They say you can't flip the switch. You absolutely can. You just flip the switch and all the problems go away. And if you do that, none of this will be an issue at all. But unfortunately, too many people are afraid of doing that.
As you can see, all these pretend Christians, all these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit? Did Jesus profit off the words? No! Jesus...
So if the pastor wears a suit?
Died with immigrants. Do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Suits didn't exist back then, bro. It's 2,000 years ago. What are you, retarded? I don't even think Jesus was real. But that's the dumbest shit I've heard all day.
Look at bro, like you got a Sasquatch showing up, huh?
Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day?
They're defrauding us.
This attack on humanity.
Oh my God.
And by us, I mean, they should have said that, right? I'm from Belgium, I don't give a fuck.
We know you live in Egypt.
Another one for the box.
For me, it's hilarious.
A very easy life while people are starving.
Welcome to
and they're just
Europe,
here we go,
basically.
here we go. Let's go. Now we're into the
now you know what it feels like.
Out now. Out now. Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. Real comfortable. Shame on you. Do something.
Do these people not realize they sound like fucking
oh my God,
massive fucking retards?
He wears a suit and tie and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not?
No, nobody said that. Like, what are you talking about? This is, you don't even believe in this in the first place. You're just using this to get mad.
Why are you not going down to Whipple and joining us in protest against this inhumanity? You claim to be a Christian,
Bro, did these guys even drop these fucking fragments? What the
Acting like
fuck?
a Christian is agreeing with me. How convenient for him. And, oh, is there more of this?
That was loud.
Anti-ICE protesters turning to churches in Minneapolis and shutting down service. Jesus. So much for freedom of religion, huh? Oh my God.
It's hilarious that they still use hands up, don't shoot when that entire narrative was proven to be one big fat fucking lie. I forgot the fucking guy's name, but he definitely reached for the gun because he had fucking gun residue in his hand. You stupid fuck.
What's up?
Imagine being this
Guys,
retarded, bro.
This was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and it's been proven wrong multiple times. Like completely fictional fucking account of events.
Let it go. Let it go. Like this was the saying from 5 years ago.
And it was wrong then.
I don't see them in mosques. That's because it's all about hating Christians, hating Western culture, hating white people.
Yes, they do.
That's all it's about. It's actually that simple. You might think that there's no way it's that simple. Well, it is. Just sitting there waiting for them to stop. I don't know why they don't arrest these people. I mean, they're going in here and they're interrupting religious services. I mean, this isn't the First Amendment. Like, these people are just peacefully having a religious event. Like, how do you justify this at all? This is crazy. Oh my God. Jesus. This isn't a public space. No, it's not a space at all. This is in Minneapolis? Yeah. They gotta trespass these people or something, man.
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
but there were folks who will.
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution and the First Amendment to.
Their First Amendment right to go
Don
on
Lemon needs to have some
private property and
consequences too,
disrupt them and
legally.
stop
Like
them
the
being
guy's a
able to
fucking piece of
practice
shit,
their religion.
an agitator,
I think that's what the
100%.
First Amendment says.
Freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities.
Yeah, in public. You wanted separation of church and state, right? That means the church is not a public fucking forum, is it? Right? Get the fuck out.
That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship.
Please don't push me down.
That's why we're
Pussy,
here.
what are you gonna do, bitch?
That's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about.
No, whenever Jesus had problems with those people, how did he handle those merchants? He threw their ass out down the stairs. He said, "Get the fuck out of my house. What are you doing in my house?" Flip their tables over, throwing their shit on the ground, and says, "Get the fuck out of here." So you want to ask, what would Jesus do? Oh yeah, I wonder. They should do the same thing.
Spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so
I love how these people, like, if these people keep pushing these Christians, I think that we could get, you know, right now we're getting 21st century Christianity. I think that we could be in a situation where we get 14th century Christianity again. We could. I think it's radicalizing a lot of people. Yeah, another crusade. I could easily see that happen. I could, but unfortunately, a lot of Christians are, they're mind broken by the idea that being a Christian means allowing everybody else to take advantage of you and hurt you and effectively
These requests are bullshit, dude. I've been here for like an hour.
Push their own.
Since you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to chronicle what happened.
Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to,
I doubt that very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Man. And so even he's doing this. That's crazy. And they always want to use the First Amendment as an excuse. It's always the First Amendment. Oh, jeez. Yep, every single fucking time. I'm no historian, but I don't think there's been a single situation in the last 100 years where people storming the churches were the good guys. Yep, I wonder why. Here's one more. Hunters stumble upon a completely unhinged Karen in the wild, and it's something to behold.
It's too far away.
Motherfucking pussy bitch cunt whore! God damn it.
Hey bro, what kind of bird is that?
This is shaman, right? Useless fucking glass stealing goddamn. Let your bitters level first. You're useless at 60, I'm not.
Yep.
Get the hell out of here! You're not welcome! Go away! Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off!
Is this AI?
She's turning into a seagull.
This feels like AI.
She gonna throw a rock? Is she throwing it in the water?
Those are decoys, not ducks. Fucking retard.
So, they're hunting, I'm assuming, out here. And this Karen shows up. And she's trying to scare the ducks away so they don't kill the ducks. And they usually have decoy ducks in order to get the real ducks to get closer. And she's throwing rocks to scare the ducks away, but she's scaring the decoy ducks away instead of the actual ducks. She got tricked by the thing that's supposed to trick the ducks.
If you say it like that, it's hilarious.
Yes. You gotta talk to your doctor and get some new glasses, bitch.
Oh, fuck off! We don't want you shooting around here!
I don't give a fuck. I don't want you walking around here.
Oh, fuck off! This is public property!
Exactly my point. Thanks for proving our point.
Don't shoot anything alive, you fuck off!
These are already dead. These are already dead.
I don't care! I don't like shooting you! Fuck off! You fuck off!
Those birds identified as dead already.
I'm out of range.
Oh my god!
That was a good one. I'm not
By the way, this is the way that you need to treat these things. Is that you make fun of them, you laugh at them, you tease them,
That's
and you
hilarious.
never take them seriously at all. This, by the way, this is a base chud. This is a base chud that just handles these Karens. Because the one thing that Karens can't handle is being laughed at and being ignored. That's the one thing that they can't deal with. And so if you just do that to them, they'll totally self-destruct. Because they can't, like, they wield their grievance as a weapon. So the moment that you decide that their grievance isn't relevant or meaningful, then they're disarmed. They're totally disarmed. They can't do anything else besides that. So that's it. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This video is really something special.
Uno más. Nur eins.
I need to get closer. It's too far away.
Uno más.
Good morning, and we're talking about what happened at this church in St. Paul. This shows the degree to which these protests have expanded in Minneapolis, and this particular incident is now triggering a federal investigation. A group of protesters stormed and disrupted a Sunday church
Started with Don Lemon
because of one of the pastor's possible connections to ICE. The U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights announced there would be a federal probe over this, writing this on X. The Civil Rights Division is investigating the potential violations of the Federal FACE Act by these people, desecrating the house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. The White House, meantime, is considering a federal troop deployment to Minnesota with 1,500 troops now on standby. President Trump has raised the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act if the violent protests there continue, and that drew a swift rebuke from the mayor of Minneapolis.
This act was clearly designed to intimidate the people of Minneapolis, and here's the thing. We're not going to be intimidated. If the goal here is safety, we've got many mechanisms to achieve safety. Right now,
you're not using him though.
600 police officers, and they've got 3,000 or so ICE agents and border control. That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military. This is, well, it's ridiculous, but we will not be intimidated.
Should have done your job.
By the actions of this federal government.
Now, the troops are from the U.S. Army's 11th Airborne Division. They're based in Alaska, and they specialize in cold weather operations. They are now on standby should the president order them in. Todd and Carly.
All right, Doug Lazater live for us in Washington. Doug, thank you. Let's bring in former DHS advisor and former Secret Service Supervisory Special Agent Charles Moreno. Charles, thank you so much for joining us. So over the weekend, as Doug was laying out,
I'm not doing any damage.
Church service where people who were praying were forced to leave. I mean, many people across the country are going to see that as a bridge to
Need a
far.
receipt,
There's
though.
this other viral video that shows an ICE agent speaking directly to the camera as protesters were honking their horns, saying, "What you guys are doing right now, you're supporting the,
This is kind of bad.
a child sex predator who
I'm
we
fucked.
are trying to arrest." So that video is also going viral. Just your thoughts on these two incidents as those protests are still raging on in Minneapolis.
Well, good morning. There's been a lot of red lines crossed already, both by the governor and the mayor of Minneapolis, as well as these protest groups, some originating from the local area. But as this continues to expand, many protest groups will continue to originate from outside the area and even the region as they become more organized and more disruptive. Look, unfortunately, the position of Democrats and sanctuary cities is not going to change anytime soon. They are going to continue to play a role in inciting and obstructing when it comes to the enforcement of federal immigration laws, and they'll continue to villainize ICE at every opportunity they get. This can all be much simpler for authorities in Minneapolis if they collaboratively worked with ICE, allowed them into the jails, and allowed their state and local law enforcement to work with them. But that's not something that they choose to do. Instead, they choose to give unrealistic ultimatums to the federal government, saying that in order for things to be peaceful, ICE needs to leave. And that is never going to happen.
So, in light of what you just said, we have federal troops that are at the ready, in position, should Donald Trump send in the troops, the federal troops, to Minnesota.
Well, I was on record here the other day with Fox and Friends saying absolutely. The conditions exist on the ground. The president has the clear authority, and the Insurrection Act should, in fact, be invoked. It has become impossible and very dangerous for ICE and CBP to execute their statutory authorities within Minneapolis. And at some point in time, the courts also need to play more of a role here. They have boxed the president in. They have said that while he's allowed to federalize the National Guard, he's not allowed to deploy them, that he needs to exhaust all full-time resources. Well, full-time resources includes our full-time military. And that's why you now see 1,500 full-time military on standby, ready to come in. But the Insurrection Act, I think we're going to see sooner rather than later.
Well, the president has put 1,500 soldiers on standby for possible deployment. At the same time, the governor has placed the National Guard on standby for potential deployment as well. I mean, if both groups of service members are deployed, who will be defending what? And what does that look like?
Well, if the president declares the Insurrection Act in effect, then he takes control of both the full-time military and the National Guard. So we wouldn't have a scenario here, which we've heard Mayor Fry of Minneapolis talk about many times, where we'd have a situation of state and locals fighting with ICE agents. I know they'd love to see that happen, but it's not going to happen. I don't think you'll see state and local law enforcement ever follow that type of guidance. But when it comes to the military, we would not have a scenario where the full-time military is now going up against the National Guard because one was activated by the local government as opposed to the federal government.
Meantime, the New York Post is reporting that a socialist group here has plans to round up more than 4,000 individuals for what they are referring to as a rapid response team. These individuals are then going to protest ICE and do a lot more than protest, as the article explains. So if they obstruct federal law enforcement, Charles, do you think DOJ needs to prosecute every single one of them in order to ultimately send a message in order to get this obstruction to stop?
Yeah, I've got to say, like I said, the red lines have been crossed, especially in Minnesota. I believe investigations should be well underway, not just being looked at with respect to obstruction, incitement, as well as threats against federal agents. And I think those charges, or potentially those charges, should be explored in other sanctuary locations as ICE continues to carry out their mission. Law enforcement's going to have to pay very close attention to the intelligence here regarding these groups. Many of them radical, many of them going to be aligned with groups like Antifa and others that are going to want to come and are going to want to get violent.
I feel like I should just go eat and hope that when I come back, there's no people.
The narrative of Democrats that it's ICE's fault. ICE should be villainized. Law enforcement is at fault here for the situations that exist on the ground. And that's entirely false. And I don't think the overwhelming majority of the American public are buying into that nonsense.
The nation watches as New York City could be next. Former DHS advisor and former Secret Service Supervisory Special Agent Charles Marino.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley.
Okay, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna go eat, dude. I'm just gonna go eat, and then when we come back, hopefully there's way less people here, and I can actually get through these fucking quests. My god, I've been here for 2 hours. I've done like 3 quests. It's crazy. Thank you all so much for hanging out so far. I'll be back after dinner. Peace the fuck out. Have a good one. Bye-bye.